myself again. But it's the only...
Good evening again from me, Steve Wraith. 2 shows tonight. We've just done the Liam Kennedy show, and now it's Match Day Live. Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace in the Premier League at St James's Park. 8:15 kick-off tonight. And as always, me and the NUFC Matters panel will take you through the match and talk you through tonight's events and probably talk about things which are completely un-Newcastle United related. But tonight is a match where I think the panel is actually looking forward to watching the game, and it's not been very often that we've been able to say that. So at the moment, it's good evening to Rich, Daz, Liam, Chris, Al-Walid and to Martin. Hi lads, you okay?
All good, Steve.
All good stuff. Good to see you all. Anniversary, of course, of Hughie Gallagher's birthday. One of our very first number 9 legends. A man who helped us win the league in 1927 and get to a cup final in 1924. Hughie Gallagher, one of the infamous number 9. So the anniversary of his birthday today. Starting lineup then. Newcastle United lineup as follows. Carl Darlow in goal. Manquillo, after his impressive return to the team at the weekend, keeps his place. Fabian Shaw, Kieran Clark steps in for the injured Jamal Lascelles. Jamal Lewis will be hoping to continue his rich vein of form after the weekend performance. Isaac Hayden, John Joe Shelby captains the side today. Jeff Hendrick, not often a fan's favourite, but did enough on Saturday, like everybody else, to keep his place. Miggy Almiron, Ryan Fraser has overcome a battle against a little bit of illness, and Callum Wilson completes Newcastle United's lineup tonight. On the bench, we've got Dubravka, Dummett, Matty Longstaff, Andy Carroll, Joe Linton, Alan St Maximin will hope to get another 25-minute spell under his belt. Dwight Gale, Emil Kraft and Elliot Anderson once again features amongst the substitutes. The starting 11 for the visitors tonight is as follows. Giata, Klein, Cahill, Dan, Van Aanholt, Miltovic, Riedwald, Ayew, Eze, Zaha and Batshuayi. Butland, Kiwate, Kelly, Mitchell, Townsend, Mateta and Benteke are on the bench for the Eagles. So, Rich, coming to you tonight because you're sitting next to me on the podcast. What's your views on? Yeah, what's your view on tonight's starting lineup for Newcastle United, mate?
I think it's exactly what we expected it would be. We knew that Lascelles was going to be out for a long-term injury, so Clark would come in. And to be fair, the rest of the lads who started the game, won the game, and Evan deserved to keep their place. Every single one of them were outstanding on Saturday. You look at the bench; it's a pretty strong bench actually. Obviously, a bit low on the defensive front if there's any injuries, and that's when we got Paul Dummett there. The only thing is, obviously, John Joe Shelby was part of the winning game. He's been given the captain's armband again, which I detest, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't have him in my team, let alone as captain. I would have probably seen Kieran Clark with the captain's armband personally. But after the performance of the weekend, the team pretty much picks itself, and you have to go with a winning team.
Yeah, I would agree. Good evening, Daz. What's your take on tonight's starting lineup?
Hey, Steve. Yeah, first of all, Sheffield United just got the 3 points, so that's good for us, I think. So it's nice and even now down the bottom. They're all in a bit of a mess. So
yeah, Sheffield United 2, West Brom 1, and in the dying seconds, we are in Wolves 2, Arsenal 1. Wolves, obviously, were 1-0 down in that game. They are playing an Arsenal team now who've had 2 players sent off, one of them the goalkeeper, for a rather unfortunate handball outside the box. But yeah, as you say, Daz, a hell of a result for Sheffield United, and a good one for us, keeps West Brom down there.
Exactly. And sorry, to answer your question now, Steve. Predictable lineup. Look, everyone did well the last day, so you can't really complain too much. It's nice to see Clark back in for Lascelles, who was obviously injured. The last day I said as well, I'm not happy with Hendrick and Shelby in there, but look, they did well the last day. We got our results. I would like to have seen Matty Longstaff in there, but look, we're not going to complain too much. Let's hope they can perform as they did the last day, and a bit of ball retention as well would be nice to see the new tactics. I was surprised maybe that Fraser made it over his illness, and I'm sure we'll see. That means we'll see ASM on the 65th minute unless something drastic goes wrong. But yeah, happy enough. with the lineup. Everyone needs another shot again after the performance the last day.
Yeah, okay. Liam, good evening, mate. What's your take on Newcastle's lineup tonight?
Hey, Steve. Yeah, just what you'd expect, really. Like the guy said before, the team sort of picks itself after a good win against Everton. I'm surprised to see Jeff Hendrick in the lineup. I think it's just because I'm a bit biased. I'm not the biggest fan of him after certain games that I've seen him playing, but I didn't see the full 90 minutes against Everton last weekend. But I have managed to just find a way to watch the game tonight, so I'll be able to have a nice close eye on everything. See St Maximin not starting once again. It's a bit disappointing because it's been about 3-4 games now, so we should be fitting up. So clearly there's something going on there. But once again, looks like 4 at the back with Almiron going down the middle. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay,
Chris Hall, Newcastle's lineup. As I say, the lads have all said it before you, but the only change really, Clark coming in for the injured Lascelles. The rest is as you were, and everybody deserves it, really, I suppose, after that performance against Everton.
Absolutely, Steve. Yeah, it as the lads have already alluded to, which is spot on. The lineup is no surprise. I actually think we're in a better position now that Lascelles is out and Clark's in. Obviously, I don't wish anything bad on Lascelles, but I think Clark is a much more distinguished centre back. So I'm really happy with that. I hope Bruce doesn't wait until the 65th minute to bring St Maximin on, because I would like to see longer than 25 minutes of St Maximin. Who knows? Maybe this is the kind of game for Elliot Anderson. If we put in a really good performance and look solid and steady, why not throw him in one of them 3 in the middle? Maybe take Hendrick or Shelby off if the legs are struggling. Obviously, we've only played at the weekend and it's now Tuesday, so I'm sure there'll be some tired legs out there after the hour mark. But perhaps maybe now is the time to have a look at Anderson in a bit more detail. So, but yeah, happy with the lineup. And looking forward to the match. So let's hope we show as much as we did on Saturday.
Yes, fingers crossed. It was a great performance on Saturday against Everton and Al Walid. Newcastle will be hoping to build on that tonight with another performance against Crystal Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, long time we didn't. Maybe this season, maybe once, maybe we have 2 wins in the row. We wish this to happen so we can have 2 or 3 or 4 run of winning. I noticed. I try to write down what's been changed so far since Graeme Jones came. So far, I came up with 4 points. First thing, there was real instructions on the coach area during the game, instruction and stuff. Back to score, second change. Third change, no 5 at the back until now. Number 4, no change of the squad or lineup, except the necessary change because the injury of Jamal Lascelles. But I mean, not like just trying someone else. Different position, just sometimes put Sean Staff in the middle, sometimes Matty, sometimes Hendrik. It's fixed for second game. This is for the change, so I'm counting. What's else? What's number 5?
Okay, Martin. Good evening, mate. Good to have you back. Newcastle's lineup. Say just the 1 change. Hoping to build on the result against Everton at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just, like you guys, I was watching it. I was just amazed at the change in the team. There was fire in the belly. There was, passion in the hearts. I think, Graham must have given some sort of pep talk in the week when he joined, because that was miles ahead of what we've been seeing. So yeah, I'm pleased Clark's in the lineup. I think he's like the most natural defender that we've got. I'm a big fan of Clark. He makes the odd mistake, but he also chips in with a goal or 2 at the other end, from a corner. So I think he's good to have on. Surprised that St Maximin's not starting tonight. Ryan Fraser has got over illness, and often that can come and bite you. I think St Maximin's ready now after a couple of sub starts. So I was surprised that he's not in there from the start. But Ryan Fraser coming back, from illness, we'll see how well he does. But yeah, I'm happy with the line. I just hope they can go out and do it all over again. I'm excited for this one. I really think we can get 2 on the trot.
Yeah, it's amazing what a good result does. It certainly has the fan base, a little bit more optimistic tonight. So let's hope that Newcastle don't do the obvious and let everybody down. Fingers crossed. The Crystal Palace line-up as we have a final score now at Wolves. It's Wolves 2, Arsenal 1. Arsenal with 2 players sent off tonight. Makes for an interesting watch that anyway. We'll just see whether Pete can join us. Pete, are you with us now after your technical difficulties?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, there seems to be a couple of gremlins in the system tonight, mate. So I'm not. I wouldn't say it was at your end. There's the lineup. We'll come to you first. The lineup: Darlow, Manquillo, Shaw, Clark, Lewis, Hayden, Shelvey, captain, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser, Wilson. So you'll see from that only the one change. Lascelles obviously is injured, and we've got Clark in centre half for him. Yeah, Pete, did he get that? No. Did he see the team? We can't hear you, Pete. You're on mute.
Pulling a spinning mag in it also.
It's a bad start for you, Pete, but I'm sure you'll warm up and get better, mate. Maybe it's the snow. But there's the lineup: Darlow, Manquillo, Shaw, Clark, Lewis, Hayden, Shelvey's captain the team, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser and Wilson. So Fraser is in, despite reports in the media that he could miss out due to illness. Obviously, the only real change there is Kieran Clark is deputising for Jamal Lascelles, who we believe is going to be out for a while with a hamstring injury. But yeah, it's as you were, more or less.
Yeah, I'm fine with that team. It's the team that got us the win, but ultimately... glad that Fraser's fit. It'd be nice to have him actually having more than one game without getting injured again. So that's a positive in itself. And it allows Maximin to have that extra time to bed himself in properly and not having to be forced or thrown into a game. So yeah, I'm confident about tonight. I'm looking forward to it for the first time in a long time. I'm looking forward to how we come out and perform.
Yeah, me too. Question there is, when did we last win 2 games on the bounce? I think we'll have to look back to November last year, I believe. I think when we played Crystal Palace and West Brom. Yeah, we beat Palace 2-0. Wilson and Joe Linton scored 2 goals in the last couple of minutes, if I remember rightly. And I think we went into December with the win against West Brom, with Almiron scoring in the first minute. Gale got one towards the end of the game again as well. So that was the last time we won 2 games back to back. So let's hope Newcastle can continue that. Let's look at the Palace lineup. We've got time. We're ahead of the game slightly tonight with a few less people on. Starting lineup for them. I think the 2 names that stand out in Crystal Palace's team, Rich, are going to be Eze and Zaha. They're the big threats in that team.
Yeah, but I think one thing that I would actually say is I would be concerned about who they've got on the pitch. I'd like to think after Saturday's performance, they've got to be concerned about who we've got playing for us, because we've got plenty of pace in our team, and those 2 centre-halves aren't filled with pace at all. But you're right, Zaha and Eze are probably 2 of their best players, even Batshuayi as well. I rate him as a centre-forward. I would love to have seen us go for him on loan at the start of the season and played him with Wilson. But they're definitely the major threats that we've got to watch out for tonight. But as I said, they should be more concerned about what we've got on the pitch, especially after Saturday's performance against Everton.
Yeah, okay. Daz, anybody else in that lineup at Crystal Palace that concerns you tonight?
Yeah, Zaha and Eze. Van Arnold is a decent player as well. I know we had him one stage, and he was also at Sunderland at another stage. I think he was actually linked to Arsenal or something there during the transfer window as well. But anyway, they're dangerous. Batshuayi hasn't done much. I haven't heard an awful lot about him. I know I was calling for him at the start of the summer that maybe we should bring him in on loan, but he hasn't really done much, I don't think, for Palace. Zaha is the main danger, and he was missing when we played them the last time, and that was a big boost to us. So him playing tonight, it's a different proposition than the last time, but we'll see how we get on.
Daz, you also run a show on this channel yourself alongside Chris and Martin. You do Loaded Football. What can we expect tomorrow night at 9 o'clock?
Oh, well, as I think I mentioned it there, the last game as well. I won't bore everyone, but there's something extra we've got coming on Wednesday. We've got a new feature called Loaded 11, where we're going to build a squad. We're going to start with the goalkeeper position. So each of us will bring a goalkeeper to the table, and then we're going to plead our case, and then we're going to put it out to a poll on Twitter, and then viewers can then vote for who they want to put in our Loaded 11, and over 11 weeks we'll have a team.
The big question is the Loaded Quiz happening tomorrow night?
The Loaded Quiz is happening. We have PG Chiletta joining us. He's looking forward to it, and an East Fife fan. So Chris is researching everything he can about East Fife, and no matter what Bill tells us, we have to believe him, because we're not going to know the answers, I don't think. But yeah, it should be interesting.
That's one of those that you used to look forward to when East Fife played 4-4, and it was East Fife 4, 4-4-5 or something like that. Whenever they used to do the scores, like that was always
the pools,
like the pools, fantastic. All right, well, Loaded Football.
9:30 tomorrow.
Oh, it's 9:30 tomorrow.
Sorry, 9 tomorrow. Sorry.
All right, okay. 9 o'clock, as I was going to say. Loaded Football Weekly, 9 o'clock. Something a little bit different that we'll have on NUFC Matters' channel. It's a breakaway from Newcastle United related stuff. It's a worldwide football show hosted by Daz. And we've also got Martin and Chris on there too. Well worth a watch. If you haven't watched it before, catch up on the first 2 episodes on the playlist Loaded Football Weekly. The lads are trying to build up the brand, and then they're going to set up their own YouTube channel and run it from there. So give it a bit of support if you haven't already. We will be doing the retro show tomorrow night. I will have George Mitchell, who's a big favourite of the NUFC Matters people out there, and we've got Neil, his son. Obviously, we've got Stu Penman, Steve Hasty, and myself, along with Steve Wilkinson, to talk about matches between Newcastle United and Queen's Park Rangers over the years tomorrow. So there'll be plastic pitch stories, I'm sure, and maybe there will be a recollection of when a certain presenter of NUFC Matters went flying down the away end. Yes, that was me. I'm sure one of the lads will gleefully tell that story from their perspective tomorrow night. Liam, give us your take on the Crystal Palace team tonight, mate. There's not a great run of form, it has to be said, for Crystal Palace. I think I mentioned it when I was talking with Liam on the show earlier on at 6 o'clock. But they've just got their first win in 10 league and cup fixtures. They beat Wolves 1-0 at Selhurst on Saturday. But they have failed to score a goal in their most recent 4 away games. So they haven't scored for over 400 minutes now away from home. Now, prior to the Everton game, we probably would have all been coming on here going, oh, well, you can guarantee they're going to break that duck tonight. But I'm a bit more confident tonight. I've got a fancy for another Darlow clean sheet. But yeah, what's your take on that Crystal Palace 11?
Yeah, on the podcast with Liam Kennedy before, great watch. Had it on before this. It was really good to watch. The lineup, I don't think people realise how strong the Crystal Palace lineup is. You know, you look at the lineup, Batshuayi, who was sometimes quite good at Chelsea, Zaha, who, you know, at times can be absolutely fantastic. Eberechi Eze, in his own right, on set pieces as well, is absolutely fantastic. He's the person that I think we should be looking at and taking the most care of. Riedewald as well. I've not seen a lot of him personally, but I saw on the original tweet when the Crystal Palace lineup was announced that a lot of fans were quite happy that he was starting. So I think he's someone that we need to look out for as well as Van Aanholt, obviously a former Sunderland player and a former Newcastle player. I am still feeling confident for this game though, Steve, despite the strong lineup from Crystal Palace.
Okay, good stuff. Al-Walid, Crystal Palace, what's your take on their team tonight?
They are a quiet team. For me, the most dangerous thing, is the one who is really, really dangerous for me is Zaha. He's the one I feel is outstanding, and I think he's the one is carrying Crystal Palace in his back. This one, the other players, they are good, but it can be, they can. We can't deal with them, but Zaha, he needs a special marking.
Yeah, okay, Zaha's a great player, it's got to be said, but he's not the prolific goal scorer against at Newcastle. I've got to be. There's some goal scorers love to score against Newcastle. He hasn't got one of those records against us. So fingers crossed that continues tonight. Gordon Homer is asking us why the Sunderland commentary is on the Newcastle United site. I don't know. That might be a glitch you might want to contact Newcastle United about. It might be some case of somebody flicking the wrong switch. It might be worth asking them. Martin, Crystal Palace, not in a great run of form, but the lads have already pointed out Zaha is still a threat.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you just get the line up again, Steve, for me?
Yeah, I will do, mate. Here you go.
Nice. So yeah, Van Aanholt worries me as well. Obviously, being an ex-player and ex-Sunderland as well, I think he always gives an extra 10% against Newcastle. And the last four, Ayew, Eze, Zaha, and Batshuayi, they all scare me. They're all quite capable of doing us some damage. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but I think we would do it tonight, judging how Graham's in, giving the pep talks. I think we're going to have a good performance.
Yeah, okay, Chris. Last but not least, just your take on the Crystal Palace lineup as we get ever closer to kick-off. 6 minutes now until the teams come out.
Yeah, I think as the lads have said, it's easy, to look at Crystal Palace and think, they're not very good, middle of the road team, normally stay around mid-table. But when you look at their team, it's really strong. I mean, they've got a number of players who I'm a fan of. Gary Cahill, I thought they were really lucky to get hold of Gary Cahill. I know he finished up at Chelsea a bit abruptly, but he's a good centre-half and he's still got a couple of years left in him. Same with Nathaniel Klein. He finished up at Liverpool and it felt like he still had more left in the tank. So, I thought he was a good sign. And then Luka Milivojevic, I've been a big fan of his since he joined the club. I think Sam Allardyce was waxing lyrical about him yesterday, saying how good he was bringing him in. But to be fair, he has been a fantastic servant for them. And as we've already alluded to, Zaha, Eze, they're the dangers. Eze coming last season from QPR. I'd say Eze's probably the informed player and the one to watch out for. But as we've all said, Zaha, on his day, he can cause problems. I'm hoping Manquillo, can look after him today. And Batshuayi, not so long ago, he was knocking on the door of the Belgium squad, trying to get in ahead of Lukaku and Benteke. So there's a player in there. And, I think Chelsea paid 20+ million for him. So, he's not a bad player overnight. So we're gonna have to be careful this evening. I mean, looking at their bench, there's not much coming off it, so that is promising. And we've got a really strong looking bench tonight. So yeah, I'm feeling quietly confident.
Okay, quietly confident. Let's get a prediction from each of you. We've got about 5 minutes now. Teams will be getting ready to come down the tunnel very shortly. Rich, your prediction tonight, mate?
I think we'll get the win. Actually, I believe it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be the exact same scoreline as it was when we went back to back last time when we played West Brom. So I think 2-0 away the first game, 2-1 the second game.
Okay, Jasmine, yes, I do remember It's a Goal. That was fantastic, that actually. I wouldn't mind listening to that again. I bet you it's on YouTube somewhere. It's a Goal, the actual raw. Crystal Palace just coming out onto the pitch as we come to Daz and asking for his prediction.
It's 1-0 for me, Steve. A first win for Liam with us on the show, hopefully, and another win for Mr. Jones.
Fingers crossed. Liam, are you as confident?
I am as confident. Yeah, I was just looking up and down the comment section. People are calling us the Luck Omen. I bet people look at us when I come onto the stream and sigh because I think we're going to lose after I come on. But no, I'm feeling quietly confident today. I'd say 1-0 Newcastle United.
1-0 as well. Al Walid, usually Mr. Confident. I'm sure I'm going to get a win out of you tonight.
It's the hardest part is the prediction for me. 3-1 Newcastle.
3-1, you're going for a Stuart Penman tonight, okay?
Yeah, actually, I talked to him today.
Oh, so he's influenced you. Martin, what's your prediction tonight, mate?
I'll go for a 3-0 tonight, Steve.
3-0. Okay, Chris, what about you?
I had to decide whether to go with my head or my heart. My head says draw, my heart says win. So I'm going to go with the heart tonight. I'm going to say 2-0. And I've just seen the lads warming up then, and what a nice change to see them all laughing and joking with each other and looking up for it. So yeah, definitely go with my heart, 2-0.
It's the Graham Jones effect. Pete, what's your prediction for tonight, mate?
I think we'll win. I think it will be a close game, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Jason, I've got enough on without managing Newcastle. Thanks very much for the nomination. I'm sure we could put that. Why don't you put it as a poll on Twitter? I'm sure you'll get some reaction to that. As long as you can take good-hearted banter and criticism, you'll get plenty of that if you put that up as a poll. Believe you me. The teams on the pitch. Let's just remind you, anyone who's joining late, how Newcastle line up. It's Darlow in goal, and then we have Manquillo, Shaw, Clark, Lewis, Hayden, Shelby, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser and Wilson. On the bench, Dubravka, Dummett, Matty Longstaff. So that answers the question of somebody in the chat whether any of the Longstaffs are on the bench. Matty is. Andy Carroll, Joe Linton, Alan St Maximin, Dwight Gale, Emil Kraft and Anderson are all on the bench. And for starting 11 for Crystal Palace, Guetta, Klein, Cahill, Dan, Van Arnholt, Milivojevic, Reedwild, Ayew, Eze, Zaha, Batshuayi, and on the bench, Butland, Coyote, Kelly, Mitchell, Townsend, Maeta and Benteke. So that's your two lineups as the referees take the centre circle and the players get ready to kick off the game. You've had the predictions from everybody, and if you're joining our match day live for the first time, we never know where this is going to go. If the match isn't very good, we could be talking about anything. Last week we were talking about monkey magic, and honestly, let's hope we're not talking about like that. Let's hope we're talking about more goals from Callum Wilson. Let me start you off, guys. There's been obviously a transfer window shut tight yesterday. We got Willock in from Arsenal. There was a lot of talk about Chowdhury. It didn't happen. We were linked with obviously Richie going out to Bournemouth. Rich, that didn't happen. I'm personally delighted that Richie didn't leave in the transfer window. I think we'll need him for the run-in. He's somebody who can play on more than one position, and I think he's valuable to the dressing room at least if he doesn't get a game. But were you surprised at how quiet the transfer window was?
To be fair, I wasn't expecting anything in January. I think it was only when it really picked up over last week, since it was after Graham Jones came in, that there was all of a sudden these targets being linked with Newcastle and stuff like that. Anyway, obviously Chowdhury went on pretty much for the whole month. They're saying that the reason why he didn't join was because the Chalabar wouldn't go to Leicester, and the little obviously circle between the three clubs wasn't going to happen, so that was why he didn't come. But I don't know if there's also something in obviously with the Richie deal falling through, which I'm on the same sort of side as you. He's one of our better players. Yes, he's not. He hasn't got the legs like he used to have. But one thing he'll always get off him is 100% every single week, and the fact he's versatile and can play on either flank and sometimes in the middle if needs be. So it wasn't the end of the world and not going through, and I think that could have an effect on why Chowdhury possibly didn't come in as well. I would have liked to have thought if Chowdhury had come in, they'd have been able to bury the hatchet pretty much straight away. You don't want a disgruntled camp, especially with the way things are going on. The one deal I was a bit surprised that they didn't go for, which I thought would have been slightly better, and I think myself and Pete talked about this yesterday in our WhatsApp chat, but I think it would have been nice to have pushed Ainsley Maitland-Niles a bit more than what we did. I think, we've got a need at right back. Really, we haven't got any.
Yes! Get in! Come on! Yes!
I'm behind.
Come on, John Joe. Love that. Get in.
What a goal!
The match hasn't even started for me.
I'm behind.
Guess who scored? John Joe.
After I'm sitting, I'm behind.
Minute one.
Sorry, I've just seen it.
Rich, you got to enjoy
What a goal that was.
I'm a minute behind on my phone. I'm going to have to see this one.
Oh, it's a lovely goal.
Oh, lovely.
Of course, we've always said how important John Joe Shelby is to the team on this podcast.
Never said a bad word about him, man.
Can't wait to come to Daz. In fact,
It's all right. I've just slagged him off as well, Steve.
yeah. Well, look, yeah, that was a great goal. There's no doubt about it. It was a great knockdown by Callum Wilson, and Shelby hit the ball into the ground. Of course, we've had a bit of rain up here on Tyneside today, all day in fact, and it's just skidded in past the Crystal Palace keeper. What a great start. 2 minutes into the game, Newcastle United 1-0 up against Crystal Palace, and what a way to start the game. Everybody very happy. But let's continue to talk about the transfer window. Just finishing off, Rich. I mean, look, we didn't let Yedlin's gone now. It's as you were, and if we can keep the squad together. If we could win tonight and, get something out of the Crystal Palace game, I've said 4 points in these next 2 games. That would be fantastic, and puts us on a good footing, especially with the results going our way in the other games.
No, I completely agree with you. It's really amazing what a result can do after Everton, because I think we put it after the Leeds game, the 6 games that were coming up, and I think we said we'd be lucky to get 3 points. And now we're talking about possibly getting another 4, which would mean we've got 7 out of those first 3 games out of the 6 that we talked about last week, which would be a phenomenal return, bearing in mind where we were this time last week after the Leeds game. Those 7 points with the gap that we've already got, and then we've still got the teams in and around us to play this, before the season ends. It might be the situation where it might look really, really comfortable in a few weeks, which obviously touch wood. I'm just touching the desk now. Hopefully, I haven't jinxed us there. But our 7 points off these next 2 off the 3 games from Everton, I think that's an absolutely phenomenal return, and I think any Newcastle fan would be happy with that.
Yep. Okay. Daz, transfer window. You happy with the way things worked out in the end?
Oh, okay. Let me talk about. Well, first of all, I'll mention Shelby 1 second, because I'm wearing my Shelby number 8 jersey tonight. No, I'm not. Okay, but fair play to him. He scored. I was actually doing a bit of research on the transfer window for another show, let's say. But yeah, in total there was 84.2 million spent in the transfer window. It was a very quiet window compared to this time last year, where 230 million was spent, and the biggest signing was by Man United, the lad from Atlanta, and they spent 37.2 million. But just on Newcastle, I suppose I'd go the glass is half empty, because they got rid of Yedlin, yeah, and they never replaced him. We've a gap now in the squad. We have a spare position squad number that because Willock doesn't need to occupy one of the numbers for us. So better planning from Newcastle, and we could have worked out better. Now, it was unlucky the way it worked out with Chowdhury and the whole Matty Longstaff going to Watford situation and so on and so forth. But on Richie. Yeah, look, he's not on the bench tonight or anything. As long as he plays him, it's fine to keep him. But we're just going to sell him in the summer, I think. So you better make use of him if and when he needs him as well. Or else there's no point in actually keeping him. But yeah, overall, no, they could have done better. I tell you, in the transfer window. Look, it's looking rosy now because they were 1-0 up against Palace. But who knows as we go further into the rest of the games that we have to play.
Yep. Okay, Nathan Thomas, congratulations on your move, mate. He says, get in there, lads. Sorry I can't be there tonight. I'm just renovating my new lounge. It's called the Graham Jones Suite as we speak. So that's very good. Liam, transfer window. It's usually quite boring for Newcastle. I suppose with the lack of ins, it was just business as usual. But that was the first transfer window that anybody has had to do after Brexit and during the middle of a pandemic in January. So I guess, we all probably expected it to be quite quiet anyway.
Yeah, it was a pretty quiet window, quite a disappointing window, I think. But in regards to Brexit, yeah, I think that did have quite a big impact on some of the transfers, some of the loans that happened. I remember Sam Allardyce at the start of the window saying he lost almost half a dozen transfers or loans because of Brexit. There wasn't that many foreign moves as well, I noticed. Obviously we saw Diallo go to Man United and Kabak go to Liverpool. But apart from that, that was it really. It was just like a lot of local people, local as in just in the United Kingdom, moving from club to club. The transfer window itself was, like I said, a pretty disappointing one. Not what you'd usually expect from January. I did a live stream last night for local TV, just on as the deadline window was shutting. I was talking about how disappointing it was, and yeah, I think it's not what you really expect from a January transfer window. On Newcastle's point, I think just what you'd expect from a January transfer window. We're not really prominent in making loads of moves in January, but Joe Willock is a good addition. I think maybe not exactly Premier League proven, but you can see what he can do. Just look at his goal against Liverpool in the League Cup last season. It was absolutely fantastic. But we'll just have to see how Joe Willock does.
Yeah, people commenting about the red card for Southampton. Just to update you on that, it's in the second minute, and on his first Premier League start, young midfielder Jankovic has been sent off in the second minute. And according to the report, he can have no complaints. It's an absolute shocker. He's gone in high on McTominay on the halfway line, and Mike Dean gave him a straight red. So he'll certainly not forget his debut. And John Askew, still going on what people were saying a little bit earlier about it's a goal. George Bailey, a legend. I think there was also someone called Jim Holland. You're correct. Bob Cass might have covered our pals from down the road. Happy days, yeah. Retro stuff and yesteryear stuff. If you're into all of that, tune in tomorrow night, 6 o'clock till 7. NUFC Matters. I've got a different panel on tomorrow night. It's a while since we've all been together. George Mitchell, Neil Mitchell, Stu Penman, Steve Hasty. Nearly a goal there from Hendrick. Myself and Steve Wilkinson will be looking back at games between Newcastle United and Queen's Park Rangers. We'll have all the regular features on as well, where we'll be talking about players who played for both teams, and of course looking at celebrity fans from QPR. So it's a bit of fun, something a little bit different for those of you who like to look back at games gone by. Coming to you now, Chris, as we just watch that replay again of Hendrick nearly putting Newcastle 2-0 up. Newcastle really dominating today so far. But transfer window, Chris, your take on that, mate?
Yeah, do you know what? It could have been worse. And I suppose what we've got to remember is, as has already been said, we're in a pandemic. Obviously, we've got Brexit. A lot of clubs haven't spent a lot of money. I mean, ideally, from our point of view, I would have liked to have seen a couple more go out. I would have liked to have seen one of the Longstaffs go out on loan, actually, preferably Sean. I think he needs to, rediscover his form, and I can't see him getting much game time, I would say, certainly over the next 2 or 3 months. I think he's going to struggle to get back into this team, albeit there may be the odd injury somewhere along the line. Sarvet runs out at the end of the season. I think Atsu runs out at the end of the season. It would have been nice to shift both of them, but it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of clubs have kind of stuck, haven't they? And just thought, let's have minimum outlay. And I think in terms of Joe Willock, he looks a prospect, doesn't he? I mean, he's broke through into the Arsenal team. Obviously, his chances have been limited recently with Smith Rowe emerging. And it's good for him, to get a bit of game time. I would be interested to see what's in his contract in terms. I know Mikel Arteta said, for him to get a good run of first team football. So I wonder whether Arsenal have inserted something in there saying they want him to play so many games. But yeah, he's bright, young, enthusiastic, and probably with a point to prove because Arsenal's his boy old club. So I'm sure he wants to go back there and have a chance of staying with Arsenal. So what better way to prove that he's good enough than to turn up at Newcastle and do the business. And it's always good to get a fresh new face in the squad. Hopefully it'll raise the game of others around him. I would have liked to have seen I'm not saying he's not a central midfielder. I believe that he is, but for me, I know he played this way for Arsenal as well. I see him as more like a right winger, coming in from the wings and with his pace and causing a few problems. I would have liked to have seen a more physical, dominant central midfielder coming in to break up the play and put a foot in. I can't see Joe Willock doing that. I could be proven wrong, but as I say, it could have been better, but it could have been far worse as well. We've shifted Yedlin out, who I don't think has a future at the club long term, because I think we all know we need a new right back. So it's another right back off the books. Hopefully we do the same at the end of the season for Kraft. And I'm happy to keep Manquillo, but I think he's going to be, second choice, as a backup, certainly for cup games, and maybe when you're resting your full-time right back. So, you know, it's a step in the right direction, and let's see what Joe Willock provides. But you know, I think we've got plenty in the tank, I hope. And like you, Steve, I'm really pleased that we've managed to keep hold of Itchy, because I think from now till the end of the season, you know, he signed a 3-year contract in the summer, so you know, his value, he's still going to retain his value even in next summer. So I don't think it's an issue. And I would rather a fit and ready to go Matt Ritchie than lose someone and not replace him.
Yeah, okay. Just getting asked there by trolls who can't see the game tonight how we're playing. Well, 50-50 possession is the latest stat. Total shots by Newcastle 2 to Palace's 0. 1 on target, of course. Newcastle 1-0 up. We've got 12 and a half minutes played. Crystal Palace have got a corner. I'll just stay with this before we move on. Yeah, Newcastle clear it to the edge of the box, and then Van Aanholt blazes it over the bar and into the Gallagher then. But yes, we're playing well, trolls. Al Walid, transfer window I want to speak to you about. Just also want to quickly ask you, we might get asked about it later on by somebody, so I'll ask you, just what is the significance of the flag being raised, you know, at the Qatari embassy today? Is that something that you were quite pleased to see? Is that significant?
Yeah, it is, because it's just to you know, the suspect saying that it's not, they are not working, they are not opening the embassy. You know, all the politics talk about it. When they reopen the embassy and they raise the flag, that's a proof everything is back to as it was before, 100%. So there will be no of course, no issue will be with the two countries so far.
It's good, isn't it? I mean, you know, we've talked about joining the dots, etc., but it's, you know, forget about the takeover, Al Walid. It's more about the relationship between, you know, Qataris and Saudis, and that's got to be a positive. I'm not an expert. I've never claimed to be an expert on Middle Eastern politics. You know, I'm very, you know, probably like a lot of Newcastle fans, I scratch my head when anybody asks me about that, and I wouldn't try to explain it because I don't fully understand it. But, you know, you live there. It just seems to be very positive. You know, little things seem to be happening, and we all hope, of course, that leads to the Premier League and Newcastle, you know, being able to get back around the table and discussing this potential takeover with a lot more hope and promise.
Yeah, for me, and this thing, why it will gonna help, because it will close any case or anything being raised before or any issue. Once the embassy is open, so let's forget about anything related to the propaganda happened before regarding the BN and these things, and the issue for the past 3 years, it's all gone now, for sure, and this is, of course, a positive thing.
Yep, good stuff. Okay, Newcastle's transfer window was very quiet like everybody else's, but we did bring a player in. Were you impressed with Willock? Luke Bailey asking if he's on the bench. No, he wasn't registered in time. But yeah, what was your take on Willock coming in? He's played a few games for Arsenal.
It's the transfer window, especially in the January, you didn't have a chance to find long-term plan. It's just you want to fill the holes in your team or refreshing the squad. For me, it's mostly for Newcastle. It's a budget matter. They need to sell players maybe before they get one, because there is 25 names or spot in the squad. So when Yedlin leave to Galatasaray, this is open one slot for us. And I thought, as I understand, Newcastle reject Bournemouth request for Richie for financial thing, I think. Regarding Joe Willock, I think this is the one who was available or for the budget thing. Arsenal, Arteta, I think I read it somewhere. And maybe the first concern for them, not the money, as long as they want to give a Joe Willock a chance to play and develop himself. I see some videos for the player. He's skillful. He still have some mistake. I notice he loses the ball sometimes when he dribbling. He need to develop, but this to happen, he need to play. So I think this is the reason why Arsenal tried to just give the player a chance. Besides, and they didn't have to consider how much the income from the player get for them. So I understand Hamza Chaudhry was the first choice. Also, there was Idris Gaya from Paris, but maybe Joe was the third option. Sometimes you just, I think this is a technique between the agents, just to say, okay, we're gonna sign that player, we're gonna sign the other player, just to make things. Just is it goal?
No.
No.
Just to fool the agent, not to get more greedy. And as we see, the Kabak player, I think, Ozan Kabak, he was meant to, or it was planned to go for Newcastle, and Liverpool steal him.
Yeah, just to fill you in on what was going on there, Ryan Fraser got the ball on the touchline. To be honest, he got the ball. It was going out all day. He put in a lot of effort to get the ball in, took it in a couple of steps, crossed the ball in to Wilson. The ball went behind him. Wilson then just flicked his back leg up and managed to connect, and it just went over the bar. So another chance for Newcastle. We've got 18 and a half minutes played. Newcastle really pushing and pressing. And, a lot of people saying in the chat that, this isn't Bruce ball. It's definitely Jones ball. And yes, Jones is sitting in the stand. He's sitting up there with Ben Dawson. I wouldn't read too much into that. This is something which often people do. People sit in the stand. You get a different perspective sitting in the stand, and then come down and chat to people at half time, and then maybe spend the second half on the bench. But I wouldn't read too much into it. He certainly won't have been sent there by Steve Bruce after what we saw at the weekend. But look, very positive. Newcastle playing football, and as Mo says, Wilson was very close with that back heel shot, scorpion kick. Jason says, yeah, it's positive stuff. Very, very, very positive stuff by Newcastle, building on the success that we had against Everton at the weekend. Martin, transfer window, it's closed again, and we didn't have any Saudi millions to spend. But we didn't have any money.
We were in for Neymar, Steve.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was funny, wasn't it? A lot of people talking about Neymar as a possibility. But yeah, look, what was your take on that? What was your take on the transfer window, mate?
Yeah, well, it was a typical transfer window that we come to expect, wasn't it, from Ashley in the Ashley era? Sort of. I don't really know much about Joe Willock, to be honest. I think I need to do a Dennis Wise and check him out on YouTube. Maybe at half time I'll have a look, and then I'll tell you what I think of him after half time. But yeah, I was pleased we kept hold of Richie. I was upset about him possibly leaving. I think he's such a sort of leader on the pitch, so I'm glad we kept him. Upset to see Yedlin go just because we haven't got replacement, and I think he's better than Kraft. So I'd like to have seen him stay and Kraft go, to be fair. But yeah, it was
1-1.
None of that, wasn't it?
Riedewald has just scored for Crystal Palace. Wonderful goal from the edge of the box. Newcastle, to be fair, caught a little bit short there. They did clear the ball out. Riedewald came in on the edge of the box. We'll just watch it again. Yeah, it was a neat change of passes. And unfortunately, Newcastle just couldn't close it down. Almiron couldn't close it down on the edge of the box. Riedewald came in, hit a left foot shot straight past Darlow. Darlow didn't stand a chance. Just the pace and the power. Wonderful shot. You watch it actually. I'm old enough to remember Brian Robson playing in midfield for Manchester United, hitting the ball like that. He always used to hit the ball like through the ball with the top of his boot through the studs, and there was no chance of Darlow stopping that. That was a good goal by Crystal Palace. On reflection, possession-wise, it's still 50-50. 1-1 might be a fair result. 20 minutes gone, all square. Okay. I'll come to you, Pete. I've moved you upstairs there, but it was your turn to talk. Just the transfer window, mate. What was your take on the transfer window?
To be expected. I don't expect anything from the January transfer window. So for me, it was as expected. I wasn't expecting a glut of players coming through. If you're going to ask me about Joe Willock and whether he's a good signing, remains to be seen. is what I said when I was asked yesterday. I'm not convinced by him. He's got some raw abilities. He's physically strong. He's fast. He can carry the ball well. But I've yet to see him do that on a consistent basis. And that's what we need right now. So he's got it all to prove as far as I'm concerned. And hopefully this is the stage in which he really puts his performances in. I always get a little bit concerned when a team like Arsenal, who aren't the greatest at the moment, are loaning out a young player who they consider to be a talent. Arsenal's midfield is not the greatest, so why is he not getting in there? And that's just my question mark. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm just saying he's not coming in the finished article. So I'm not coming in expecting miracles. He's got a lot to prove. I'm more disappointed about the Chowdhury deal, and the reason why I'm more disappointed about it is purely I can see now why they were looking at Chowdhury. I know there was a lot of question marks with regards to why they're getting him. He's very, very defensive, and he has the ability to get box to box. But now you see the way that we set up with Hayden sitting as that defensive midfielder. That is why they were trying to get him in, because he's the only midfielder in this glut of midfield players that can actually do that sitting role. So they needed an alternative in there, someone else. So I'm more disappointed that we didn't get that. It's like I said, it's to be expected. Hopefully, it's the last transfer window where it's to be expected. Hopefully, the transfer windows moving forward are a lot more exciting and a lot more positive. I'm hopeful on that. But so that's me on the transfer window. I'm disappointed with that Palace goal. Before that, they've not really threatened. They've not really looked that dangerous. And it just really, in my opinion, come from nothing. But there's been lots of positives so far. It's funny when you get John Joe Shelvey not sitting on the back four and getting further forward, what he's capable of doing. And I'm not just talking about the goal, I'm talking about his play further up in the pitch. He's controlling play, he's making things happen, he's pushing the team forward. He did it again, 2-1.
Oh, Jesus.
God, man, that was so easy.
We've completely switched off now.
Cahill, it was free kick at the Gallagher end. Free kick came in. A well-worked set piece, training ground set piece. Cahill came steaming in, had a free header straight past Darlow into the back of the net. 2-1 to Crystal Palace. 24 minutes gone. He was unmarked. I've got to be honest. Shelvey switched off there. I'm just looking. Shelvey was marking nobody. Who was marking Cahill?
Shaw.
Probably Shaw.
Yeah.
I was lost him
Shaw's
completely.
left him. Yeah.
He's got held up in traffic.
Yes, that was, we don't deserve that. 25 minutes in, Crystal Palace are winning 2-1. There's goals in this game. I'm not going to get too despondent. I'm not going to get too disappointed. But Newcastle need to assess things. Hopefully Graham Jones can have a look at that from the stands and work out what's going wrong. But they need to tighten up at the back, and that's disappointing, to be fair. Babel, good evening.
Evening, lads.
Just want to ask you about the transfer. I want to ask you about the transfer window. Obviously it's closed now, mate. Was that a great surprise to you that we only brought the one in and let one out?
I mean, to be fair, I'm a bit disappointed by Ashley's greed. For someone who is supposed to be so greedy, he allows money slip through his fingers a lot. I was like, Yedlin is just going on a free, just like that, which didn't make any sense. And to be fair, I don't know a lot about Joe Willock either, because I was like, we're going for Hamza Chowdhury and then Maitland-Niles, and all of a sudden they're like, yes, Joe Willock, and I'm like, okay. I mean, he's starting for Arsenal in some games, so we can say he has the competence to be able to stand his ground in the Premier League, but I don't really see anything coming from it. I hope he proves me wrong, because he seems to be excited to play for us, which is good. Idrissa Gueye did not want to come over, so that was just an insult to. I was like, guys, we don't want players that don't want to come to the club. Don't come and.
Oh no.
3-1.
He's
Is it a goal? Offside.
He's off, thank God. Got to wake up here, boys. Got to wake up.
That could be the stroke of luck that we need, to be fair. But yeah, Zaha put the ball in the back of the net, but he was offside, mile offside as it happens with the replay. But
control all over the place. But as a back two now, they look absolutely all over the place. They are not working in tandem whatsoever. They're not talking to each other. When that ball goes over, the gap between the two centre backs is like they're playing three at the back. It's too wide. There's too much space for attacking players to run into. It's not good. That's worrying.
Yep. Yeah, was says, look, you are not managers. Shut up. Bruce knows the game. You don't. Thanks for your comments there, mate. Great stuff. Always good to get positive input from the people there watching. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2, 27 minutes played. Let's go around the board and just ask, what do you make of that opening 27 minutes, Rich? Because, Newcastle were cruising 1-0 up, looked as if they could have gone 2-0 up, should have been 2-0 up, and now we find ourselves 2-1 down.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I've seen very little of it because I cannot get a working stream, unfortunately. So it is completely buffered for every single thing I've been doing. But luckily, I've seen the goals. We seemed good for that first 20 minutes or so. It's been this last 5 minutes that we've just been asleep. We've gone back to that how we've been in previous games. I've noticed that what I've seen over the last 7-8 minutes since they got back in the game, there hasn't been that collective press. I've seen Almiron still doing his chasing down, but there doesn't seem to be as much chasing from the rest of them. They just seem to be a little bit more apprehensive going for the press. But we've got to get back on track. And as Pete says, the two centre halves have got to start communicating with each other. If they don't start talking a bit more, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, bit of a challenge there in the midfield. Ayew is down, rolling around on the ground. Shelby's bending down, altering his socks, which means he's going to get booked. Clearly,
Here we go again.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, wet conditions like that, putting a challenge in like that. Shelby
Going near the ball.
Yeah. I mean, it just a late challenge and yellow card for John Joe Shelby. That is his 4th booking of the season. One more and he will be suspended. So yeah, Daz, it's we're going through all the emotions tonight, but there's still goals in this game. 450 odd minutes that Crystal Palace had gone without scoring an away goal. Then they scored 2 in half an hour in Newcastle.
Yeah, and for me, it's been the Shelby show because he got the goal at the start, and as Pete pointed out, I wrote it down as well that he was playing up in the Palace box, which is strange for him. Normally, he's taking the ball from our box and trying to pop a long ball from there, and then the yellow card, and so now he has to watch himself for the rest of the game. As we would he score again?
It's it.
Fraser there with the light enough shot on goal, easily saved by the keeper. But look at I don't know. We just kind of pressed self-destruct there, and 2 easy goals. Well, the first goal was a good goal actually. It was coming from outside the box, but the second goal was kind of poor defending. Maybe it is something again, as I refer back to what Pete said, that they're missing the 5 or the 3 in center defense there or something. But hopefully Graham Jones has picked up something, as you said, Steve, and he can alter things, and hopefully as well that we get to see ASM if we're still behind sooner than the 65th minute to give him a bit of a chance and a run out here.
Yeah, was, I'm afraid, is now gone. I'm afraid I do give people a fair crack at the whip on this channel. I don't tend to block many people from the chat. When people start getting, a little bit carried away with themselves, they've got to go. So, unfortunately, it's a red card for him and he's off. Man United 2, Southampton 0, Bissaka and Rashford with the goals. So, plenty goals flying in tonight. Maybe so the wet weather's having a bit of an effect. Liam, what's your take on this opening half an hour at St James's Park? Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 2.
Quite disappointing. I'm a couple of minutes behind, so every time I see a reaction, it's a couple of minutes until I see things. But, I think it's just the common case of scoring a goal too early. I don't like when we score goals early because it just means that we're probably going to be on the back foot for the majority of the rest of the game. To be fair to them, they did go out and attack for the first 15 minutes. But as some people have been saying in the comments, normal service has resumed. Now, I've got to say, I did say this as well when we were analysing the Palace lineup. I said that we should look out for certain players, Eberechi Eze, especially on set pieces. What's happened? Eberechi's got an assist from a set piece. Riedewald, his goal was probably avoidable. The shot probably wasn't avoidable. It just sort of came out to him on a plate, really. But it actually deflected before it went in. So it was unfortunate. Dollar looked like he could have saved that. But obviously, it's just like a nice little centre-backs finish from Gary Cahill as well. I'm not too sure who it was that was marking him, but just clearly not staying on his man and letting him get open space. But honestly, I could see this getting a bit worse now. Palace are starting to get control of possession. We're on the back foot now. We're not really pressuring as much as we should be. And they've got a free rein to pass the ball about, really.
Yep, the one difference between, of course, Saturday's game and today is that Graham Jones is sitting in the stands. Does that have an effect? Dr. Rockness seems to think that Bruce is standing there like a wet cabbage. Well, there isn't much animation going on the sidelines from Steve Bruce, it has to be said. Maybe that does have an effect. Graham Jones sitting up there. Maybe we might see him down in the second half. And plenty of people asking when ASM will come on. Probably 65 minutes or 66 minutes. It certainly won't be any earlier.
The thing with, obviously, as you said, Graham Jones is in the stands tonight. It can work. I believe it can work. Dean Smith did it a lot at Aston Villa last season. I think it just gives people another chance to sort of see the game from a different perspective. It's almost like you're a fan watching the game.
Yep, Kev Illingworth on Twitter says Jones out. A bit premature for that, mate. Nicole, welcome. I know you do come on and watch our streams. It's always nice to have people from different football clubs joining us. And she's a Liverpool fan, but she always likes to see Newcastle do well. So welcome, Nicole. Pete, this Newcastle United... Go on. Through. Great. It's a good save. Fraser got through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The keeper managed to tip that wide. It's going to be a corner. Fraser seems very, very animated tonight and well up for this game. Newcastle got a corner. Let's stay with that before we get to Pete. I think it was Eze who cleared the ball. What's going on? It's offside, is it?
Offside, yeah.
The offside flag's up. So, Newcastle had a chance there. It was one-on-one. Looks like it was offside. They're just getting a replay here now. We're just going to see it. It was Fraser. Yeah, I mean...
Great ball.
It wasn't what? Was it offside?
No, it was after the corner. It was offside then.
I think we took the corner early and we might have been offside.
Oh, well, the bloody TV didn't even get the corner, did it? It didn't even show the corner. What on earth is going on with BT Sport? Never mind. Yeah, well, the corner was obviously taken and it was offside, bizarrely, from a corner. I mean, how on earth Newcastle can do that? I don't know. So anyway, we're still 2-1 down. Pete, the Newcastle roller coaster, as always, takes us on an up and down journey, and we're on a bit of a downer at the minute after such a positive start.
Yeah, it seems like it reminds me a little bit of the Man United game in that we scored really early and we looked on top, and a little bit like West Brom as well. When we got that early goal and you think, right, there's goals in this. They look really shaky. Let's go for it. And we didn't. And we started playing it across the back, and players, when they had the opportunity to play the forward ball, instead they try and play the ball, backwards and across the defence. And it's all nice controlling possession, but let's go for them. Let's go for the throat. Let's end the game as early as we can. We get a second goal at 1-0, we're flying, and their heads are down. And it's even clear, even going 2-1 down, they've got gaps everywhere across their back line. And if we just show an attacking intent and an emphasis to get forward and want to score goals, there's goals in this game. I've got no doubt about it. I think you said it at 2-1 that you're not overly concerned because you can see the gaps, Steve, and there are massive gaps in this Palace back line, and the keeper doesn't look confident at all. So, look, I just want us to get that goal back to 2-2, because I think if we get it back to 2-2, our heads will go up and theirs will drop, and then it's all to play for again. But as it's 2-1, the deeper they get, a lot harder it's going to be to break them down. So fingers crossed.
Free kick just goes over. Miggy hits the ball over the bar. Look, Newcastle and Crystal Palace are playing an absolute humdinger here. It's got to be said. It just clips the top of the bar. If it hadn't, that would have gone in. That if you got that on target, the keeper had no chance. Newcastle still 2-1 down at home. This has got goals in it. Oh, there must have been a deflection. Got a corner.
Jesus Christ, man.
A header just goes wide from Shaw, and Newcastle are still 2-1 down. The camera, I've got to be said, camera, but whoever's in charge of the cameras with BT Sport tonight is absolutely garbage, because they're really just not keeping up with the game. It sounds as if we don't know what on earth we're talking about, but actually the cameras just aren't showing the game at full time. They're missing vital things, aren't they? Absolutely useless.
Yeah. At the same time, Steve, Newcastle are trying to play quick corners and stuff like that, so it's probably is difficult for the camera to keep up. But it's probably a good sign as well that it's an entertaining game like this. There's chances at either end here.
Man United 3-0 up, own goal by Benderek. So Southampton really suffering tonight at the hands of Manchester United. And Nicholas says, rest in peace, Graham Shepherd. He always watched the town. Yes, our condolences with the family. Martin, wow, this is a game and a half. This, I think the next goal is vital. If Crystal Palace score it, I think it could backfire on Newcastle. If Newcastle can get back to 2-2, it's anybody's game. This.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, like we were saying, the first goal was, I think we couldn't really do anything about that, but the second goal was defensive error. But yeah, I think this, if we get the next goal, I think it could be a 4-3 classic. I think it could be end-to-end stuff. I think it's very an open game. I think we do need Graham Jones back on the touchline. I think he was giving the players an extra 10% on Saturday. I think he's just yelling at them most of the time, giving them that extra push. So I don't think they're as on the players this game. On Saturday when we played, I thought really closing out every player right on them straight away. They didn't allow them any space at all. It's not so much like that this game. So I just think it would really help if Graham Jones was on the touchline, maybe in the second half, maybe to do that, just to give that extra push. Because I haven't seen Steve Bruce yelling much.
It's funny you should mention a 4-3 scoreline, because in 1997, of course, Martin, Newcastle United on this day played Leicester City at home in the Premier League, and a certain Alan Shearer scored a hat-trick in a 4-3 win for Newcastle.
That's right, and he did it in 10 minutes, was it? Or 15 minutes, I think, wasn't it? The last 10-15 minutes of the game. Absolutely incredible.
And Newcastle were 3-1 down, mate.
They were, yeah. I think Heskey, he got a hat-trick or something.
That's right, mate.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I was watching that with my granddad. And he's from Newcastle, and he was fuming. He said, Newcastle didn't deserve that. Leicester were the better team going throughout the whole game.
Another shot for Newcastle. Miggy squared it to Shaw. Shaw hit a right foot shot, took a deflection, and it looks as if it's gone behind for a corner. But God knows with BT Sports, did it take a deflection or not?
I think one positive we can take from this is that we are attacking now. We're actually playing attacking football now. Just having chances. Eventually, law of averages, one is bound to go in.
Yeah,
there's a long way to go in this game yet.
There is. Just a quick final point on that 1997 4-3 win against Leicester. Kenny Dalglish, when he came out and to speak to the Sky cameras, he did say that he now knew why Kevin Keegan's hair was going grey managing Newcastle. I think that's when he finally got what Newcastle United is all about. Chris Hall is Crystal Palace get another shot in on goal, but it's a weak one from the edge of the box. Look, it's 2-1, but this is an exciting game of football. This is a game that would have us off our seats if we were there, Chris.
Absolutely, Steve. Do you know what? Let's be clear about something, and this is, to the people at home who aren't watching it. We're losing 2-1, but I've got to be honest. We're giving it a right good go here, and again, I'm gonna mention the Graham Jones impact. We're playing such a high line from the back. I feel like I'm repeating myself from last week, but the difference it's making is unbelievable. And do you know what? All right, we're losing 2-1, but I've seen so much positivity from this performance, and we're going to go in at half time with renewed belief. If we haven't equalised, or in the next 5 minutes, we're going to go into the second half thinking we can get something from this game. We're still really in this game, and do you know what? We've played really well. There's been a couple of players, who have really stood out today, notably Fraser. I think he's been excellent, and this is what we want to see. And if we played like this all season and we were where we were and we were on the points tally that we had, I tell you now, we wouldn't be criticising Steve Bruce. If we were playing like this week in, week out, and we weren't picking points up, we couldn't complain, because we're having a go. we're trying, we're getting shots on target, we're putting pressure under Palace, and we're 2-1 behind. And I think if you said to anybody who wasn't watching the game, didn't know the scoreline, who's winning, you'd probably say us, because we're really having a go and we're really trying. And I for one, if this game finished right now, full time, honestly, I wouldn't have any complaints, because I'd think, you know what, we at least had a go, we're at least in the game, and we're playing good football, we're playing some nice stuff. So, I know it sounds odd, but I'm happy. This is such a big improvement on what we've been watching for the last few weeks. And all right, the first goal, it was one of those, wasn't it? Took a deflection. Darlow had no chance, and the ball just bounced out to the player, and it was just one of those things. And things like that happen in football. You could argue that maybe somebody should have picked up, the lads who put it in really well. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those unlucky things. The second goal, it was schoolboy. Gary Cale's gone on a run round one of our defenders. Shard hasn't picked him up. He's left them, and they've scored. But these things happen. It's one of those things. But the way we've reacted, and this has been our problem over the week, Steve, as you know. As soon as we go 1-0 down, heads go down, depressed. Let's play it round the back. Let's play safe. Let's not concede again. We haven't done that. We're going forward. We're trying to get that equaliser, and that's what's pleasing for me to see. So, I'm as disappointed as I am to be 2-1 down. I've got a lot of hope for the second half.
Okay, Al-Walid, what's your take on this first half? We're 43 minutes into the game. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2.
After we score first goal, before we score, we start very excited. After the goal, we are leaning. We become quiet, and Crystal Palace take advantage of this. And they feel the danger, and they start to attacking us, and we just lean backward. I could say coach of Crystal Palace, maybe he watched. I think he playing with some kind. Crystal Palace look like Leeds in the attacking way. Maybe he saw that games. I think he trying to do something similar to Bielsa formation, because he know this is gonna work on Newcastle. It's a tactical thing. For me, it's fine now, but for me, Shelby, Hendrik, and Hayden, one of them must be out, and Saint Maximin in. This will make us control the game, because as we see, Crystal Palace, even if they are defending, they are fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Newcastle pushing again. Another ball, but cleared by the Crystal Palace defence, and it's a long ball into our half, but kicked out towards the dugouts. We're coming up to half time. The rain's still teeming down at St James's Park. Babel, summing up that first half, please, mate.
I think we've actually played well. It's just two mistakes. As you said, the deflection, you can't really do anything. Clark is trying to stop the ball from going towards goal. Not really much you can do about it. The second one, I mean, to be fair, at a certain point, Newcastle in defending, we need to start learning to pick up the guy on the edge of the box. It's been happening since last season. That's the same way De Bruyne scored against us when we drew Man City 2-2. Edge of the box. We keep leaving that open for some reason. But hopefully we'll learn from that, given that we have probably some new eyes on the pitch. I'm hoping to see St. Maximin on at halftime, but as we all know, Steve Bruce doesn't he doesn't play with substitutions until the 65th minute. But it's been quite encouraging. To be fair, they are not dropping their heads. They are trying to move the ball forward for the last couple of minutes now. For some reason, they're just passing it in the back. It's like you praise them and then they start doing the opposite.
Yep, okay. It was 2 minutes at a time. We've got about a minute left. Newcastle United are losing 2-1 at home against Crystal Palace. Been an exciting game, it has to be said. I think we've all agreed, just in our summing up so far, that there's more goals in this game. Certainly needs to be some changes. I think Al-Walid's suggestion of potentially taking Hendrick out of the equation and putting ASM on would be one that most of us would agree with as well. Shelvey has probably had one of his slightly better games. Ryan Fraser's performing well. Hendrick is a bit of a passenger in this game. I've got to agree. I don't think you can play Shelvey and Hendrick in the same team. It doesn't work against everybody. But I think the conditions are playing their part tonight, lads. I think the rain is bucketing down. It's been a very cold day on Tyneside as well. The pitch is soaking, and then there's a lot of balls not bouncing as true as they probably would have as the referee blows the whistle and we come to half time. So Rich, oh no, we're still playing. I thought Lewis was walking off there. That's my fault. That's my fault, not BT Sport.
It's the BT camera.
I'll always hold my hands up if I make a mistake, but now the whistle has gone as we focus on John Joe Selvey spitting some chewing gum out. Rich, give us your take on that first half. Rich, you're on there. You've done a spenny, mate. You've done a spenny. You're on mute.
Sorry, I've just done. I've had the pleasure of actually just listening to the game through our commentary for a change because I can't get the stream working. So, from the start, first 20 minutes, we seem to have been pretty much on top from there. Lost our way from the 20th minute or just about the 25th minute where we've got to see those two goals. Then listen to the commentary of yourselves as well, going through it. It just seems chance after chance from us. It's just we haven't started to sulk like we have done in the past when we went a goal down. We're actively trying to get back into it. We're creating chances. I did see the one where Fraser went there, got put through by Wilson. Perhaps if he'd been a bit more confident, a bit more game time, he might have had a bit more confidence to try and go around the keeper rather than with the keeper standing big like that. Guy is a big goalkeeper. He takes quite a lot of the goal like that. So perhaps try and go around him, and then he would have been able to have a bit more of the goal to go to. But listen to the lads and the chance that we seem to be creating. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll still get something from this game. Regards to substitutions, we would like to see ASM come on, probably for Hendrick, as I'm going off what you said. He seemed to be walking around the pitch a bit and doesn't seem to be in the game as much as he was against Everton. But we all know what Bruce is like. We'll probably have to wait until at least the 63rd minute at the earliest point in the game before we come to change. Probably close to obviously the 65th minute. I do think we'll probably see Jones on the sideline in the second half, though. He's obviously been up in the stands, observing from afar, looking at possibly what shape Palace are playing, what we can do, and where we can try and, look at weaknesses for themselves. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the sidelines and being like the lieutenant like he was on the sidelines on Saturday against Everton.
Yeah, okay, mate. Daz, your review of that first half?
Yeah, we started really well and we're on top. And yeah, we're unlucky with the first goal, stupid for the second goal, but we haven't given up. And because we're missing so much of the action with the camera trying to keep up, the urgency is there. So that's a big difference to what we've seen from numerous games before last Saturday's game against Everton. But in relation to the subs, I can see it sticking with the same formation. So I'd even give him the order of how he's going to do it now. I think he's going to take off either Henrik or Shelvey, bring on the likes of Matty Longstaff, then bring off maybe the likes of Fraser. They're all these players are playing well. It's just that just to bring on ASM and stick with the same formation. And then if we're still 2-1, we haven't got a goal, then he'll probably bring on Gale playing against Crystal Palace, who he has at previously as well, just to throw the kitchen sink at it at that stage to try and get back to a draw. But I think we can put it back early into the second half and to 2-2 and then see where we go from there. Then the whole ASM factor really kicks in.
Yeah, on the 65th minute. Big shout out to our sponsors coming to the end of their monthly sponsorship, and it's a big thank you to the Old Coach House Distillery.co.uk, the world's first alcohol-free distillery. You can buy gin-esque there. Big thank you to them. I think their offer now will have passed as it is well into February. A big shout to QTechShop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend and Newcastle. They also make our t-shirts, which you can buy at NewcastleLegends.com. Also, a big thank you to Jab Signature, who make our flyers and posters to promote the show. Big shout out to them. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Loaded Football Weekly starts at 9 o'clock, 9 till 10. You can catch Chris, Daz and Martin talking about world football tomorrow night, and all that goes with it. Liam, your take on the first half, please, mate.
Guys, I think I was a bit harsh on them in my last little analysis. They have been playing well, but I think I was just a bit mad at how we conceded the goals, especially the second goal. You know, we have been playing well. It's a nice change. We are going forward, and I like that. We need to take Jeff Hendrick off, though. Obviously for St. Maximin, if we want to keep pushing forward and we want to keep attacking in this game, then we need St. Maximin. We need a fresh pair of legs in this next half, just to see if we can get a goal. But like Chris was saying before, I wouldn't be too disheartened if we lost this game. I would be a bit disheartened because obviously the omen would keep going. But no, I think we have been playing well, and I think it will be interesting to see how we're doing the next half. Obviously, with another mouth to give advice in Graham Jones in the dressing room at this half-time. It'll be interesting to see how the guys come out sort of immediately after half-time. They're obviously 10 to 15 minutes after as well.
I really hope that this hasn't been some kind of, power play by Steve Bruce and that he sent Graham Jones to the stand. And I hope that my assumption that, he's gone up there essentially to get a different perspective of the game, Liam, is true. Because, there was definitely, we did capture that. I know that photos can be captured at any time, but that did say a lot to me. That picture I took and stuck on our show on at the weekend, he wasn't happy at that. He wasn't happy that Graham Jones was up and out of his seat and basically pushing the troops on. And you would like to think that he hasn't told him to go and sit in the stand and keep out the way.
Well, no, you wouldn't want to think that, but I think, like you said, an image can speak 1,000 words, and in this case, it is Graham Jones egging the team on. And he even saw after the game as well, him going up and hugging the players like Callum Wilson, just sort of bringing the morale back up. But no, I think it's not like a strategy thing for Steve Bruce. It's not like a thing that he's doing out of spite. I think it is just maybe a tactical thing that Bruce is doing.
Yeah, okay. Sam asking how you can join us on the video. Sam, if you give us a shout on Twitter, drop us a message on Twitter. I'll give you a follow. And if you want to come on one of the match day lives, I can get you on. No problem. We always like to get new people on, and there's always a space at some moment in time. So if you're up for it, give us a shout. And likewise, anybody else in the chat fancies the opportunity to come and join the madness, then you are more than welcome. And I know that Daz is always looking for people for Loaded as well. There's always a chance to get on there and take part in that show if you want to talk about world football. And just a big shout out to everybody in the chat. We often say thanks to you, and big shout out to you tonight. Over 400 watching again tonight. We're averaging 7,000 for these match day lives, which is fantastic. And your support never gets taken for granted. It's always a big thank you to you for making it fun for us to do as well. Big shout out to the food bank as well. The match day bucket is in operation from now until the end of the season. Something else that we took part in with QTech. qtechshop.co.uk came up with this idea. If you go to NUFCfansfoodbank.co.uk, you can make a donation like you would do at the match when you go to the game at St James's Park. You can donate whatever you want, and I think in the first week they made just short of £1,000 for the food bank just with that idea, which is absolutely phenomenal. So just a way of you maybe donate a little bit to the food bank. Of course, we're doing our bit with the t-shirts, so if you get onto my Twitter, the pin post at Steve Wraith, Mark Byers, one of the people in the chat on a regular basis, has made this t-shirt and posted it from America. And it's got all the shows that we do on the back, got a big emblem on the front there, and just some of the hashtags from some of the things that we've done over the first 12 months of NUFC Matters being a Newcastle YouTube channel. Big thank you to Mark for creating that. As I say, that's a one-off. You can bid for it, and at the moment it's at £110, and Keith Patterson from NCSL is the highest bidder. You've got until Friday to bid on that, and then Pete will be delighted to know that the cap that Mark Byers sent over will be going up for auction. So Pete
got the bid at £20.
Yeah, I guess he's got his bid in already. So yeah, that will be going up. Pete, your take on the first half, mate, pal?
Disappointing, really. I've got to say, attacking wise, we've been good. We've looked positive. So I've been really pleased with that. and I can see us scoring again in the second half. When have we ever been confident of us going and getting a goal? But I am. I think the key for us is that we've got players to come to the bench that can influence the game, and I don't really think they have. And I think that their squad and their best players are out on the pitch at the moment. And the longer the game goes and the more tired that they get, I think it can go into our favour, particularly with the likes of ASM coming off the bench and really, hopefully, praying that he lights up the game. So with that, I've got a little bit of confidence going into it. Just to answer that question with regards to Graham Jones, he is on the sidelines. There's a picture on Twitter, I think from the Chronicle, with him on the sidelines and giving some instructions next to Bruce. So he is down from the seats already. So fingers crossed. It wouldn't even surprise me that he came down after they scored the second goal and we made the improvement in our performance after going 2-1 down. It would say a lot, to be honest. But look, we haven't been bad. We've fell asleep twice and we've been punished twice. But we've still got an opportunity to get something out of this game. So I do go in the second half with a little bit more confidence. We've just got to be a little more selfish. We've got to make sure that the final pass is right. Some of them are being forced. We've got players that can do the business, and Crystal Palace look shaky at the back. They really do. So I'm not worried. I really like Hayden playing in that defensive midfield role. He is just shoring everything up, and there was a couple of times just before half time that Shelby was just dropping back further and further to get the ball, and you just see Hayden telling him to get up the pitch as if to say, "Go away, this is my place." And I like that, and that's what has to be done. We have to push him forward, and he did. He goes forward, he gets the ball, and he starts playing forward passes. So I like the fact that we've got Hayden there. You talked about taking Hendricks off, but to bring ASM on, we've only then got Shelby as that central midfielder. So that then proves a little bit of an issue. If we're really pushing for the game the last 15 minutes, fine. But at the moment, I think the structure needs to stay as it is because we're still within the game. And you don't want to dismantle the structure too early because that's where we could get punished. And if it goes 3-1, then the game could be beyond it. So we need to be smart about it. And I'm sure Graham Jones is having that talk with the lads in the changing rooms to say, look, let's be patient. We're still in this game. We need to keep creating chances, but we need to take one. And the earlier we take one, the better. Because I think we'll put a lot of pressure on the Palace.
Yeah, Pabby says, no disrespect, Steve. I think you're being a little naive. Bruce has seen the immediate Jones effect and isolated at the stands. Listen, I'm just trying not to get any stick tonight, Pabby, because if I start I'll be accused of causing a pylon, mate. I'll let somebody else do it tonight. That's what I'm doing. Marty, look, give us your take on that first half. And, has Steve Bruce told Jones to go to the stand and keep out the way, do you think?
Well, being cynical, I think that's what everyone thinks. So because he had such an impact, you can't just go from the way we were playing. I know Bruce, he kept saying, we're changing stuff. We're trying really hard in training to change things. And that performance, I know he said, in the second half of Leeds, we saw bits of what we want to do. But that performance on Saturday was miles ahead. It was like, new blood had come into the team and give everybody that fire again. And we saw that against Everton. So, it wouldn't surprise me if, being cynical that he did. He's got the hump, he's seen the impact that he's had, the limelight's off him. And, there's a new boy come in, he's got a result and he's put him in the stands.
Okay,
but,
we're getting a picture now from the Chronicle. One of the lads has obviously just shared that in the chat. Liam's just shared it in the chat, and there's a picture of him now down on the sidelines. So potentially, everybody is saying that he was in the stands. It was reported that he was in the stands. So it looks towards the back end of that second half. He's come down, and there's a picture which is doing the rounds. If you want to get onto the Chronicles Twitter, they basically shows him back down there coaching. So that's a positive. But he certainly did start in the stand. So maybe I was right. Maybe I was right in the sense that he did start up there because that's what happens. You get a different perspective. When Sam Allardyce was at Newcastle and Lee Clark was working with him, Lee Clark would spend that time in the stand. He would have the headpiece in. He'd be relaying back to Sam what he could see from up there. It's the way it works sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching a game. You mentioning Allardyce. I remember watching a game of Allardyce once. I think it was against Portsmouth, and I was actually there in the ground at St James's watching it. And I think we went like 2 or 3-0 down within 5 or 10 minutes against Portsmouth. And Allardyce was in the stands, and the fans were having a right pop at him, and he started to come down the steps, and the fans really grilling him to sort of try and change it, but it was too late. The game was gone. But yeah. No, I do think you have a lot more effect down there on the sidelines, just giving players some bit of encouragement, instruction. So I think they need it, especially after the run that they've been on recently.
Yeah. Teams are back out on the pitch, so we'll have to whiz through the last three lads just about that first half. And yeah, the Crystal Palace are coming out now as well. Chris, just a quick assessment on the first half and what you want to see from the second half.
Yeah, just to say what the lads have said, Steve, I think it's really positive. I like what Pete said, about keeping it tight. I think the first 15, 20 minutes, obviously, because that's before we make the subs, going to be key. Keeping the game, keep it tight, keep plugging away, keep doing what we're doing. And, I'm positive that we're going to get some more chances, and hopefully we put one of them away.
Yeah, okay. Al-Walid?
There will be chances, but Wilson... he's a little away from the box. I want him to be more inside, to be in number 9 position, because I noticed sometimes he's in the right side. I don't know, he's just running away from the marking from the defensive player, or just some kind of tactics. And the next goal is going to be crucial either for Newcastle or for Crystal.
Right, okay, and Babu, as the game
That's
kicks
what
off.
I'm scared of. We should not overcommit in the start of the game and get sucker punched. That's what we should not do. So hopefully, if we don't do that, we'll have a chance.
Yeah, okay. Conspiracy theory over. People are saying Jones is now on the bench. He's sitting behind Steve Bruce. We've just seen him there having a chat with Steve Agnew. Second half, then, I mean, Rich, we've kicked off. We're hoping for an immediate response here, I suppose, in the opening 5 minutes, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like, if we finish the game, start the second half like we finished the first half, we're going to create something. And I think the way that the confidence seems to be running through the team now, some changes are starting to be made with the coaching staff. And people are going to hate us saying it, but it's obvious that the team's got this Jones effect, and he's obviously come down. Seeing what he's seen from the stand for the first half, it'll be as we discussed before. You'll be able to see what sort of structures they've been doing, where we can look to create weaknesses, take advantage of their weaknesses. And if that's the case, I'm still very positive, like the rest of the lads are, that we will create something, and there's still goals in this game, and hopefully we're the beneficiary of those goals.
Yep, okay.
Yep.
Crystal Palace through again. Darlow saves with his foot, and Van Aanholt as well. He's got a bit of a habit of getting goals against Newcastle, but he got down that far side. Must have been offside because Darlow's got the ball, and I think it's going to be
He did look offside.
a free kick. Yeah, so 46 minutes played. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2. Yeah, I mean, Daz, just we need a quick response here, don't we? We don't want to be hanging on too long, and we would like to see that substitution made a little bit earlier than the 65th minute as well. If we don't get this goal in the opening 5 or 10 minutes of the second half, you'd like to see a change and really put Crystal Palace back on the back foot.
Yeah, we would like to see the change, but he will still wait a while. I think I have a feeling that we're going to be enjoy this second half. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling we are. So I'm going to go very positive here. We're going to get something from this.
Right, okay. Liam, I see you're getting a bit of stick in the chat, son, especially from Martin, who's not here tonight. You can take it up with Martin on the next stream, but he's leading the campaign. Liam out. He's saying the Liam jinx. The Liam jinx strikes again, mate.
Don't listen to him, Liam. Don't listen to him.
I know. I feel like I've got a bit of an agenda against as a target on me back.
Yeah, what's your take on this second half? I mean, the Jones thing. You made an interesting point in the chat, so make it to the people out there watching the match tonight.
All right, so I feel like I'm going to get hounded in the comments here, but I'm just going to say this now. It's maybe a bit controversial, but would we be paying as much attention on what Bruce is doing with Jones if it wasn't Jones. Let's say if it was Steve Agnew, would it be reported that he was going up into the stands and watching the game? You know, I feel like just because Graham Jones is new, we're paying a bit more attention to it, and just because of what happened to Everton, and of course the picture we've seen tonight, we're paying just a bit more attention to it. But I've seen Steve Agnew do almost the same things that Jones has done.
I think the problem with the optics of that is that Steve Agnew has been there for 18 months too with Bruce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the last 2 months we've been playing terrible, and we would have seen it if he was doing the same thing, right? The problem is with Jones coming in, you have someone, he comes in, we change our formation, and we start having link-up play. We start approaching the game like we have competence in our players, or confidence in our players. So, you know, regardless of how it might look optically, everything that has happened since when he arrived shows that he's had a different outlook or a certain contribution to the team that Bruce is like, oh, rather than playing this 5 at the back that we seem to be losing every single game with, let's try a 4-4-3 or something like that. So it's kind of difficult to then look at that and then go, oh yes, it's this. So I suppose it's just how life is. If someone comes into the company and then the company changes the way they do things, then you're like, oh, that's the person with the goal.
I think it's a bit of an odd coincidence. Obviously, just as soon as Jones has come in, obviously it could be the Jones effect. But I just feel like if it was Agnew doing these exact same things, that we wouldn't be paying as much attention to it.
Listen, it's a good point, yeah. And the reason that Steve Bruce has got Steve Agnew and that doing that is because of this. He's copying. He is copying Graham Jones. Remember, I do like that picture. I got sent that on Twitter. Of course, I'll get dogs abuse for sharing it, but never mind.
No.
Just to add on the point that Liam made, it's a good point, and I think the fanfare about it is it's a genuine question to ask. Would there be the same fanfare? And I don't believe that there would be, but I do believe he has made the difference, and I honestly believe he is the reason why we are playing the formation and the style of football we are now. And I think they've brought him in for that reason, and I think that is. Because there was such a noticeable difference in the structure, we noticed 10 minutes in the way in which they were pressing, the way in which they were structured, defending the ball. It was all just so different to what we'd seen in the last few weeks, and it was like instant. And the performance on the back of it was instant. Tonight, even though we're 2-1 down, the way we're playing is instant. Like, it's, why wasn't this done at Arsenal? Why wasn't this done against Leicester? You could go back all the games. Why wasn't this change made now? I mean, Bruce is saying, oh, we've been working on this for weeks. Well, why haven't you been playing it for weeks? If you're working on it in training, you would implement it in a match to see whether it works or not. And if you've been doing it for weeks, why have you not implemented it before? It just doesn't make sense. And the fact that Graham Jones does play this way and this style of football, it says a lot. I mean, the one thing I didn't get to say on Saturday, which I noticed after about 25 minutes, I looked at the way which we were structured, the formation, the style of play. I looked at Fraser and Wilson. I thought, where have I seen this before? And I thought, Bournemouth. And if you look at the way Bournemouth played, and I'm not just saying it, if you look at the way Bournemouth played, even last season, they had some good games, even though they got relegated. But they played this exact way. And it all just fits together to say, hold on a second, who's implemented this? And it is Graham Jones. You see the players, you look at the players, they look like they're enjoying their football. 2-1 down, they look happy. They look like they've got an emphasis on them. Miggy has been absolutely transformed in the last 2 or 3 games by playing this more attacking style of football. And I think that's why, and I think because of that, everyone's jumped on the Graham Jones bandwagon, and it has gone unfair. And you know what? If it gives the fans a little bit of happiness about it, then great. It's Bruce's, as Bruce keeps saying, he's been in the game long enough now. He's got 40 years of experience. Well, hold on, you've been in the game 40 years. Get over it then. And stop getting in the arse when the media write some criticising lines about you. If you've been in the game long enough, you should know when to expect it. It's not like he's been a horde of success and he's got trophies all over the place. He's won nothing.
You know what's funny about every time I hear people say, "See, Bruce has been managing for so long," it's because Sheffield Wednesday fans are like, he does the same thing. Aston Villa fans are like, he does the same thing. Newcastle fans are like, he does the same thing. So for the last 20 years, he's not improved whatsoever in his management style or his tactics or his application or anything. And I'm like, what, isn't there supposed to be like an exam you take to show that you're competent at doing this? Or you just qualify once and they're like...
Do you know what, Babbo? It's like we need, when you're too old and, when I say you're too old, when you get older and they ask you to take your driving test again. It's like someone should give him a managerial test again, isn't it? Because all the clubs are having the same arguments. And do you know what, Liam? I think you made a really good point because, I was there myself the other day. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving all the the jokes and the Graham Jones positivity. I am loving it. And to be fair, Graham Jones has walked into a fantastic opportunity because let's be honest, Steve Bruce was doing that bad a job. Graham Jones has come in, and it looks like he's transformed the team, which is great. But as Liam said, I think we all need a bit of, we all need to calm down a bit because hopefully we're riding on the crest of the wave, and hopefully we can get some points, tucked away under the belt. But let's be honest, Graham Jones is not, like an Ancelotti or the way we carry on about him, everyone is getting really overexcited.
Graham Ancelotti.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's crazy. You think he's like this master tactician, but to be fair,
look, I feel like now we're in the honeymoon period with Graham Jones.
We are.
In I'd say 4 or 5 games time, Steve, I'd love you to bring this topic back up to us in about 4 or 5 games time, just to see if my opinions changed or not.
Yeah. No, I'm sure we will. I mean, look, it's an ongoing situation. I think it's just because things have been so crap that everybody is getting carried away because we've won a game, and that I'm afraid that doing this show highlights it more than anything else. And Match Day Live, this concept that we've done together over lockdown really shows you the emotions of a Newcastle fan during the game, and how if you watch some of them back, there's some really funny ones where we're literally going on that roller coaster, and we've all been on it together, and it's a social experiment doing these for us as a Newcastle fan, and you think about what you'd actually be like at the game. You know what I mean? And now it'll make you think more when we ever get back to going to a game. You'll be in a different mindset again. But it's the way it is. It's what happens at football games. Anyway, people will be wanting to know what's going on. Zaha's on the ground.
He's injured.
Yeah, he's injured, and he's been struggling for about 5 minutes, and it looks like Andros Townsend is going to come on and replace him. Of course, formerly of this parish under Rafa Benitez, and a very good player, somebody who could certainly do a little bit of damage tonight as well. It was a challenge that he went into with Lewis. He ran off, and then he's pulled his hamstring. I think he just pulled up sharply when he was trying to get the ball off Manquillo, and just holding the back of his hamstring, and I think he is going to go off injured, which once again failed to perform against Newcastle. Zaha has to be said. Physio's given him a little bit of TLC, but it doesn't seem to be doing him any good. I don't know why he seems to be bending his leg back as if he's got cramp, but it's clearly his hamstring. Andros Townsend is, as I say, is getting warmed up. Marty, 57 minutes played, Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2. We're getting close to substitution time, mate. 65th minute.
Yeah, let's go for 60 minutes, shall we, today? I think we need ASM on just to sort of give us that bit of injection. It looks like we're going a bit stale. My link's not too great. I'm joining in with Rich here. It sort of keeps freezing. But it'd be good to get ASM on, and then just hopefully score a couple of goals.
Yeah, 57 minutes played as Zaha goes off. Substitution made. Andros Townsend is coming on. Zaha not looking happy at all. That means he could be missing, as Lascelles will be for a couple of matches. So hamstrings starting to play their part in the colder weather. Townsend's coming on, Chris. no sign of a Newcastle substitution yet.
Well, we've got a good 7 minutes here, haven't we, Steve? So
Yeah.
Steve Bruce is probably just working out who he's going to bring on now. Let's
know
hope.
who he's going to bring on.
Oh, I know. I mean, do you know what? Honestly, I would love to see Elliot Anderson get a one out here because
Yes,
I just feel we need legs. We just need legs and give the lad a one out. Why not? You know, Palace won't be prepared for him coming on. Palace will know. Well, Bruce will probably bring Longstaff on, or he might bring Cavill on. Or wouldn't it be nice to just roll the dice and just give the young lad a one out, and just say to him, go and enjoy yourself and just see what you can do. And, try and take a few players on, win a few free kicks, cause a few problems. That's what I'd like to see. But, yeah, let's see what Bruce does. Maybe Graham Jones will have a word in his ear and say, give the young lads a one out. Let's see.
And to be fair, right, I think there was one match we were losing and I was like, Bruce, you could just put Elias on now and we'll all be fine. Like, the man has no idea of how to placate a fan base at all.
Yeah, I would agree. Al Walid, still 2-1 to Crystal Palace, an hour played. The substitutions, it is becoming a running joke on this show now. We don't make substitutions early enough, and somebody made the point there that it's like Championship Manager. They used to make their substitutions on 65 minutes. It is what Steve Bruce seems to do.
Oh, I'm just imagining Steve Bruce is like a Championship Manager, like manual, going like, it works in Championship Manager.
No, that's what he'd be doing.
I think the problem is he's settled into his rhythm, and he's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing it the same for 20 years. It's been working, so it must work now.
Yeah, Al Walid, what's your take?
He doesn't want to risk it, because he didn't want to do the risk earlier. He still think that the plan will work, so that's why just want to wait until the last opportunity. For the Grammy and for Jones and Steve Bruce situation, I've been discussing with some fans in the Middle East. They have a theory that they said Jones, he's the manager, but because Mike Ashley, he can't sack Bruce for financial thing in the contract. So okay, he waiting Steve Bruce to quit, but he insists to stay, and that's why. And the Jones, he's the real manager, but I don't know. It doesn't seem this way. Now 30 minutes left. I can see Crystal. We can beat them. If I recall, Joelinton in the away the home game last, he scored against Crystal Palace in last 2 minutes, 2 goals. As I said, Crystal Palace backside is fragile. It's easy to break, but we need a leverage. So we need SCM instead of one of the 3 in the defense midfielder.
John Gandhi makes a really good point. He says, I've been working for 20 years, but work's a million miles away now to what it was when I started. You've got to change with the times. Yeah, he is. It's a very good point, though. It is. Bruce uses that line about, I've been in the job 20 years, and like we keep mentioning it on here, but it is right. Work and life does change. It's not the same. 20 years ago, players were going out on the drink on a Friday night and then playing on a Saturday. It's not the same now.
ASM.
62 minutes on the clock, and ASM is standing up. He's not on. Babu, he's not on. Babu, he's not on the pitch yet.
Oh Lord, it's just so funny how it's so predictable.
Here we go.
I'm gonna do this, lad.
Get your little flag out.
He's 3 minutes early.
Hendrick as well. Hendrick, love it.
60-second minute substitution.
Okay.
We've gone for some
This
kind
is
of new record.
Do you reckon he's watching the podcast?
He's got in between playing Championship Manager, he's definitely watching the podcast.
His watch is fast, that's all.
Maybe you could be right. But yeah, Babu, here we go. The substitution we were talking about. We do know what we're talking about a little bit on this show. Hendrick's off. ASM's on, and that's the substitution that we all wanted.
So I think now we're just playing 4-2-4, and hopefully we can actually get something out of it, because right now over the last 10-15 minutes it's just gone still. Miggy is having to come to the center circle to get the ball now. It's bad. So we just need to step up. We need to start playing like it's the last 15 minutes now.
Yeah, okay. I do want to. I did this on the Liam show, but I don't make any apologies for doing this tonight as well. Rest in peace, Captain Tom. In the UK, what a hero he has been through the pandemic. 100 years of age. Went out and decided to walk up and down outside of his house, 100 laps. And, because he captured the public's imagination, he managed to raise just short of £40 million for the NHS. He shouldn't have had to do that, but he did do it. He built a wonderful rapport with everybody, became a sir, lived a wonderful last year, it has to be said, during these testing times, but rest in peace, and thoughts with his family tonight from everybody at NUFC Matters. Fantastic guy. Rich, 65 minutes coming up on the clock. Newcastle still losing 2-1. ASM's on the pitch now, though. Are we going to see Newcastle hit back and get an equaliser here?
Well, the best news, first of all, I've actually got a stream. So I'm actually watching the game, and I'm actually really pleased at the way we've been playing the second half. Seems to be all Newcastle, to be fair. You would like to think that with ASM coming on now and actually keeping Fraser on the pitch at the same time, that it's actually going to show, a good attacking intent from Newcastle. So I still believe we'll get something out of this game. I think we need at least a point, but the amount of chances that we've been created, I still wouldn't be. Rule out us getting the win. Going back to you saying about Bruce managing with Championship Manager, I think you probably have to go back to our days, actually, but the title's a bit unfitting for Steve Bruce, but I would have said more sensible soccer. That's just a bit more logical for his basis.
Sensible soccer. Oh my God! Honestly, it's I don't know. Bruce just I don't know. I think I've lost any will to live whenever Bruce gets mentioned. When he speaks now, even his interviews now are just getting crazy. We're talking about it on the show with Liam, and he's starting to insult people and getting he's getting ratty, and I just think he's quite rude at times in his press conferences. Maybe that's his way of dealing with the stress, but it's strange.
I had a chat with my mate, and he was asking about why Bruce wasn't perhaps sacked, and I said, you've got to remember that Mike Ashley pinches every single penny he can, and what happens is it's cheaper to pay $250,000 to Bournemouth for a coach to come in to possibly take over, rather than pay off $3 to $4 million probably to sack Bruce and all these coaches. He'll happily wait until the takeover goes through and let them worry about paying $3 to $4 million off, and he's had to literally fork out next to nothing. That's just Mike Ashley, full stop. And the appointment, even though whether we think that he's actually running the team now or whatever, which if he is, fair enough, I'm more than happy with that. But it's a Mike Ashley appointment, saving pinching the pennies, the pounds, whatever.
Rich, you've hit a nerve, as always, with people out there that they do listen to what we say. Graham Bond says, Sensi Soccer, what a game. Sliding tackles from 20 yards away, awesome. John Gandhi says, sensible soccer, absolute classic. Players got knackered, then couldn't run anymore if you didn't sub them. I remember that as well. That was funny. I mean,
that's a Newcastle performance under Bruce, isn't it?
I've got to be honest, I'd forgotten all about that. But yeah, now that people are coming to me, I remember that, John, in particular. I remember that 100%. Yeah, great. So anybody else got any more sensible soccer memories? If you have, drop them into the chat. Daz, 67 minutes played. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2 as Miggy takes the ball off Andros Townsend, feeds it back to, it's gone back to Darlow, and Newcastle kicked the ball out.
Yes, Steve, just on the computer game talk, I think we'll have to do a section on loaded football at some stage. And also we need to get Steve Bruce a new copy, because Championship Manager ended around 2005. It's called Football Manager now, so get with the times, Bruce. But yeah, Then
Just like his coaching badge.
Yeah, but then back to the game. Yeah, we're knocking on the door here. Crystal Palace are showing a bit more steel as well. But yeah, you imagine if we keep knocking and knocking, we'll get that goal to bring it to 2-2. But I think we're going to need to make some other kind of a change as well. If in the next 10 minutes or so, and bring on the likes of Gale or something, just to put a bit more of attack. And I know it'll mess up our formation, but we'll have to go for broke at some stage. But stick with it for the time being, and then go for broke.
And just for Rich, here you go, mate. The teams are out. They're on the pitch. They're lining up. Do you remember that? Oh my God!
Look, typical Bruce formation: 10 behind the ball and all.
Oh, brilliant. Liam, it's over to you with some more controversial things to get you some stick.
Yeah, a bit more controversy. Steve Bruce was an author once. Well, that's more of a fact than controversy, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, still 2-1 down. We're coming up to the 70th minute mark. The second half hasn't had as much energy. Both teams went for it, hammer and tongs in the first half, but Newcastle could still find a way back into this. It still feels as if we're going to have at least another goal.
Yeah, you know, I completely agree with you there. Since Maxi's come on, we look very, very lively. Obviously, I'm a little bit behind you guys, but there was a chance just before St. Maximin tried to play through Callum Wilson. And if he managed to get through, he probably would have been able to score that. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But we're on the ball now, control possession well. I think this game on the ball, we have been really, really good. And that's a good improvement as well. I'd love to see what the possession stats are in this game, because I don't think they're going to be as bad as they usually are. Just looking now, yeah, we're looking quite comfortable, really. Got possession, long ball up to Shelby. Oh, he's actually got it there. But yeah, it's pretty interesting this game so far. I think we're going to be in for an interesting end as well.
Yep, just for the sensible soccer fans out there, I am looking for a few more pictures. There's a team lineup: Newcastle United versus Arsenal. Pavel Cernacek in goal, Steve Watson, Steve Howie, Philip Albert, John Beresford, Rob Lee, David Batty, Peter Beardsley, David Ginola, Les Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, and Shaka Hislop and Darren Peacock on the bench there. So quite a decent lineup. Pete, were you a sensible soccer fan?
Yeah, I played it. I was a what was it called? Commodore Amiga.
Same as me, Pete.
Yeah, Commodore Amiga. I don't know if you guys ever played the Great Gianna Sisters, the old Mario Kart knockoff. Yeah, I played that. Played sensible soccer. There was another game as well, Man United Champions of Europe. I think game that I think Bruce was on it at that point, so that's how old it was.
Was it 20 years old?
Yeah, 40 apparently. He's been in the game 40 years, so he should be selling it 40 years. But yeah, sensible soccer, yeah, big fan, great game. Loved it.
Danger here. Wilson, is he injured?
He's on the ground. He took a little bit of a run and tumble. Steve Bruce was shouting referee.
I've been disappointed with the lack of attacking emphasis of the team in the second half. We've just been like happy enough to just play it side to side without getting men into the box. We need to be flooding men into the box to commit their defenders, and I don't think we've done that enough in this second half. So Maxi is giving us a little bit more life, but there has to be an attacking intent in the second half if we're going to get anything for the game. Because playing it side to side across either wing is exactly what Palace want right now. They're quite happy with that, but we need to be getting balls into the box, committing defenders, and committing men forward. You know, we're not going to get anything out of the game unless we do that. So we do need to wake up with just over 15 minutes left, because Palace have sailed through the second half without really being tested. And they haven't really looked like an attacking threat at all. So it's been a bit of a nothing second half. Yeah, I'm just... There's one or two players that look a little bit tired out there. Maybe the Everton games took it out of one or two. Miggy looks a little bit tired. He still played well, but he looks tired. He's not as intense in his tracking and his pressing. Fraser looks tired. So, you know, maybe freshening that up, giving someone that's got a little bit more legs, maybe could make the difference.
Okay, Man United 6-0 up, where we did miss the 5th goal. It was Cavani. McTominay has scored the 6th goal against Southampton. Of course, that's the next team that we play at the weekend. Simon Lawson has taken us down a different avenue. He says, I had the Steve Bruce Subutio. All my players were blue tacked to the pitch. He says, of course, Subutio. There we go, another classic. I used to have that. You weren't supposed to flick the goalkeeper. But of course, when I was playing against my brother, I would flick the goalkeeper into the ball. The goalkeeper would then knock all my brother's players over, and the ball would fly into the net, which caused a lot of arguments in our house. But yeah, Subutio, another classic. Martin, Subutio, or sensible soccer fan?
Sensible soccer, like yeah, remember it well. I had a Commodore Amiga as well back in the day, and the Spectrum before that. But no, this half we need to start throwing everything at it in a minute. I think the next goal is vital, and I think we've got to make sure we get it.
Yeah. Sean Clowney thinks we're going to get a 2-2. He says nailed on the 80th, 85th minute. 2-2. Do you think we'll get that, Martin?
I think we will.
Yeah, okay, mate.
So Fraser's just crossed in. I don't know, a bit behind you guys, I think. But yeah, we just need to maybe get Dwight Gale on. We've got nothing to lose, have we now? So we just got to throw everything at it.
Yeah, Stu's talking about something controversial. He's saying LMA manager on the PlayStation was canny, especially if you put a cheat in for £500 million transfer budget and swap Shola Amiobi for Messi. I've got to be honest. I would never do that, mate. I would never ever do that. Chris, are you one of these? Are you a computer man, or were you more of a flick and kick with Subutio? Chris?
Yeah, I was more for the computers, to be honest, Steve. I love me Championship Manager.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of FIFA. Yeah, I always remember. I think it was the 0102.
Yeah.
And it was, I used to love going Newcastle, and it was great. Michael Bridges up front. Funnily enough, I think he tweeted about it the other day, being in the Newcastle squad, and yeah, it was a fantastic game. But yeah, I've always loved FIFA as well. I've got the latest FIFA actually. I still like to play it. I'm currently I play on Ultimate Team, and I play. Well, I've got the Newcastle badge, Newcastle kits, and I've actually got the Saudi kit. I'm playing in the Saudi kit at the moment, so I'm flying the Saudi flag.
Yeah, interesting. Good stuff. Al Walid, is that something you play in Saudi? Are you a computer man? Did you ever play Subutio as a child?
All my childhood.
Yeah. Were you a
yeah,
Subutio?
and my favorite is Winning 11 from Konami Peace, and I think it's called Peace now. Still my favorite.
Really? PES over FIFA?
Yeah.
Damn, in PES, if you have like 99 speed, that's the end of it. There's nothing that's happening. No one is catching players like Messi or no.
Yeah, for me, I can't play FIFA.
Why?
Okay. Substitution. Manquillo off. Dwight Gale is on. So Steve Bruce clearly going for it. 76 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2. You can often tell how good the game is when we suddenly go off on a tangent and start talking about other things. Carry on, Al Walid. What did you say? You don't like FIFA? You can't play FIFA?
I'm play, but for me, I used to play peace. My hands is in the game. I'm better in peace, so that's why.
That explains it.
Yes. For the change, I notice always put Gale. I think we didn't need to play Gale now. We just need to just play forward, and we need. I don't know what's wrong with the freshing up the defense midfielder and Sean Staff brothers. Why one of them come and fresh the middle field? Because obviously they are tired. I don't know what. This is. For me, I think when Saint Maximin play instead of Hendricks, this is not Steve Bruce's change usually. Usually he will put ACM either instead of Al Mayron or Fraser in this place, but no. But this change, Gail, I think this is Bruce.
Yeah, just as we've been talking about football games, did anybody play this? I had this Super Tommy Cup football.
Yeah, quality.
Yeah, now Super Tommy Cup football was one of my favourites. Now, I think I've still got it in the loft somewhere, and again, my brother will kill us when he sits and watches this. I actually used to write down the records on a bit of paper. 36-0 was the highest score I got against my brother on that. And my brother was 7 years younger than us, of course. I was 11 and he was 4. But 36-0. At one point, I think I managed to knock one of his players off. But yeah, I was also the annoying brother who used to do commentary. I used to do John Motson commentary when I was playing my brother at that. But yeah, many happy memories. And again, that led to fights in the family home, the Wraith family home over that game. But many hours of endless fun with Super Tommy Cup football. I really did.
Go on, Maxi.
So Maximin's broken in the box. Got past one, got past two. Hits the defender, goes out for a corner. Let's stay and watch this action before we come to Daz, who was back in his rightful place alongside us there. That's where he usually is. He's just... It's like a merry-go-round tonight. But yes, Maximin took one, took two. Ball went off the back of one of the defenders, maybe been Cahill. Corner, taken. Goalkeeper comes to punch it. Is any Newcastle player going to get to it? Shaw has got it. Up in the area, crosses the ball in. Comes to the edge of the box. Hayden wins the header.
Go on,
Almiron's got the ball. Still got it. Plays
Go on,
it out
Maxi,
wide. Out to St. Maxin. He's got the ball again. Hits the ball with his right foot. Falls to Shaw. He lofts the ball into the box.
Wong.
Free out. Something.
Why didn't he hit it?
Whistle's gone for a foul on the
Should
goalkeeper.
have hit it.
Newcastle are still losing by 2-1. Daz, 10 minutes to go, mate. Are we going to get anything out of this?
I hope so, Steve. I still think we are. I'm not as confident as I was earlier, but that's probably because we've only got 10 minutes left. But yeah, we've thrown everything at it now, and we're going to continue to throw everything at it. So it's just, yeah, will Palace come and hit us on a sucker punch on the counter or something? But we're going to keep plugging at it here, and hopefully we get something. Yeah, I think my brother had that other game that you showed earlier as well. I didn't keep the scores though. All the times I bet him on it.
I'm going to try and dig them out now and find them. Super Tommy Cup football. Quickest hat trick was Peter Beardsley, if I remember rightly, as well. It's just stuff off the top of my head. Like, it's how bad is that when you still remember things like that? Tom Lynch says, anyone remember the really early PES games? They had really bad commentary, including a very wooden Terry Butcher. Was that the one where it had like the crowd sound, the very early crowd sound in as well, which used to go on and off intermittently? It was just a bit weird, yeah. Anyway, Liam, we've got 9 minutes to go. Newcastle still losing 2-1. Any hope of getting anything out of this game, mate?
I still think we can get something here. This reminds us of when we were chasing a goal against Newport in the League Cup. I know it's a bit of a weird comparison, but that's the way that we're attacking right now. St. Maximin coming on, that chance there just shows how much of an influence he can have on these games. Getting past 2, I think 3 people even at one point, and then just staying as far forward as we can. I know where I am right now, on the other end of the pitch, but we're looking good. We're looking good for this last 10 minutes, and we could have another goal, maybe even 2 here.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at your comment in the chat. I'm too young for these games. I tell you what, you'll be able to pick a version of that Super Tommy Cup football up. Honestly, if you ever end up in a situation where honestly, that would be great in lockdown. It's a tiny game. The controls are so tiny. I wouldn't mind having a game of it now. In fact,
also it is going to be way cheaper than FIFA.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's still in my dad's cupboard. The only problem is if I left the batteries in 20 odd years ago when Steve Bruce had just started managing, they've probably all like melted and the acids come out now and it's probably ruined the insides. But yeah, Babo, 82 minutes played. Newcastle still losing 2-1. Can we get anything out of this game?
We definitely can. It's just a matter of time, and we need to shoot. I think Newcastle players have this problem. They can't shoot from outside the box. When last did you see anyone take a shot from outside the box as a Newcastle player? It's one of those things. But one thing I've learned watching this game is we've stopped wasting times on throw-ins. The last 7 matches, now we just take it one. So hopefully we'll be able to get something.
Yeah. I mean, let's hope so. I mean, we deserve something on that first half performance. I think some people have said already on the chat the second half's been pretty poor compared to the first half. Al-Walid, are we going to get anything out of this game, mate?
There is a chance to score a draw. I don't know if we can play Joe Willock.
He's not on the bench.
No, he's not on, mate, because he signed too late. So we won't get him. He won't be involved until the Southampton game, Al-Walid.
Yeah, so I think we can score a draw hopefully, but we need to fast play anyway. We didn't want to waste time because all Crystal Palace they get behind and they play counter attack.
Eze gave the ball away there. Shaw came in, took a run in, and we've seen him do it before. He hit it with his right foot, but was comfortably over the bar. Ball goes out for a goal kick. And Newcastle still losing by 2-1, 84 minutes played. PD says football manager on the Commodore 64 took 45 minutes to load by tape. That one had the two-tone on-off crowd noise. God, yeah, I remember things loading by tape. That was so frustrating. Pete, substitutions have been made, obviously, and the stats are coming up. 18 attempts on goal for Newcastle tonight, 4 on target.
Ooh. It's the on target that's the issue. We haven't tested the keeper enough in the second half. With the rain absolutely hammering it down, slippery surface, we should be pummeling them with shots. But there was a chance about 5 minutes ago where it fell to Fraser just on the right hand side of the 18-yard box, and he's screaming. There's no one around. Just take a shot. See if it goes underneath his legs or something. And he tries to put a cross in the box, and it comes to nothing. We need to be testing the goalkeeper. We're not trying to walk the ball into the net. We're trying to score a goal. So when we get an opportunity to shoot, we need to shoot and commit him. We've got enough attacking players on the pitch that we should be flooding the box now and really getting men forward. So he's trying to look for the corners. He just needs to hammer it. Just needs to hammer it at the keeper, not at the keeper, but towards goal, and make sure it hits the target, because anything's possible. On this surface, why is he not keeping it low and drilling it and making it difficult for the keeper to get down to save? There's a bit of naivety in our play this second half. And, for all the good play and the attacking intent, we want points on the board. And this is another game, just like Leeds, where we're throwing away a game that we could get something from. Looking back to your show with Liam earlier, Steve. Liam said, this is a game we can definitely get something from, and we can. And Crystal Palace have shown nothing to suggest that they deserve this 3 points. They had a couple of minutes where they got a couple of goals, and then they've literally created nothing since. So, it's down to us and our lack of attacking intent to commit the keeper if we don't win this game, or certainly get something from it. So, we want points on the board. We've got Southampton next, which won't be easy, regardless of their result tonight. It won't be easy because they're a decent side. And then we've got Man U and Chelsea away from home. So the games don't get easier. So we need to get points on the board now where we can.
Yeah, exactly. Simon Lotion, thanks for your contribution tonight, mate. Some great stuff. You've certainly carried on where Rich started. My pal Stagnite, we found his Test match cricket game beautifully written out with all the stats. Mr. Men versus Sesame Street. But yeah, I did have that as well, and I did play my brother at that. The problem with that was that you used to kneel on that fence sometimes to gain an advantage, and it used to come away, and sometimes you would knock the fielders over and that. But yeah, that was something a bit. You had to be right with that, and you can see where that guy's hand is. You used to be able to swerve the ball around and get a little bit of spin on it and get people's wickets. But yeah, that was another good game. So thanks for all your suggestions tonight on that. Brilliant. Certainly takes your mind off a bad game of football when it's been as bad as it has in the second half. Rich, God, you started something with sensible soccer, mate.
Wait, it's made up for the last 20 minutes. This dross that we've had, so it's been all right. I don't know if Can anybody else remember the evolution of Subbuteo, which was proactive soccer, which was the men with the magnet and the magnetic ball, which had that was quite cool as well. I had to play that because my sister ruined Subbuteo because I didn't live near where any of my mates were, so I always had to play against her, and she always lost, so she stood in all the men, so I couldn't play Subbuteo, unfortunately. Regards to the match, I think that we're still there. We're still knocking on the door. I still think we can get a point out of this. I've been watching the whole game, and it's like we're actually being raffed, if that makes sense. We've got all the possession. We're knocking on the door, and like Palace are just literally all behind the ball. And it's like they've hit us with the only 2 shots on target, I think. And we're being raffed, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, Palace has 4 shots the entire game. We have 13, and we have 62% possession. So we need to do something with all this possession.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm just, I was trying to work out what you were going on about with Pro Action Soccer. And to be honest, it took a little bit of finding, but I think I've found it. Is this it, Rich?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil there against Argentina, I think. Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, 89 minutes played. Newcastle don't look like you're going to get back into this. Crystal Palace are pushing for a 3rd goal. Don't think we're going to see any monumental hat-trick by Callum Wilson in this game to seal the points for Newcastle, sadly. We'll see how much injury time we've got. Marty, this is going to be a bit of a disappointment, isn't it, after we started so well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like what Pete says, we just need to get it up there and start peppering the goal. Just take shots and, anything can happen, can't it? The goalkeeper parries it, and it's a tap-in, isn't it? So we just need to try and get it up there and just take as many shots as we can on goal.
Yep, John Gandy, Brian Lawrence, cricket. Yeah, that was similar to Test match cricket, I think.
Oh, no.
You're right, yes, Crystal Palace, the third.
Oh!
Got to be the miss of the season by Townsend. That I don't know how he didn't finish it.
He's helping us out. He was
Roy is not happy with that. I've seen him angry before. He wasn't happy at all. 5 minutes injury time to play. Newcastle still got a chance of getting something out of this game. Chris, no, it's 4 minutes injury time. 4 minutes. They can't even get that right, BT. 4 minutes injury time. And Newcastle pressing. Shelby's got the ball. Let's just stick with this. Shelby plays it out to Almiron. Ball's whipped in. Is it going out for a corner? Maximin's got the ball. So Maximin's got it. Free kick. ASM goes down. Klein took him down. Goal flash. 8-0 to Manchester United. Martial scores. Didn't see the 7th goal go in, to be honest. I didn't see that flash up. But Premier League is the Premier League record 9, lads.
Yeah.
Man United against Ipswich. Or Liverpool against Ipswich, is it?
It was Man United versus Ipswich.
It was Man United.
Like Andy Cole got 5 in that game.
Yeah. Okay.
Was Leicester Southampton 9 as well?
It was. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. The Vardy and Perez hat-trick last season, wasn't it?
Yeah. And let's see what happened. 9-1 against someone as well. Was it Wigan?
Wigan.
I think Defoe scored a few, didn't he?
5.
Reedwald's gone off. Coyote has come on. We're just still waiting for the outcome. What's going on here? Is this going to be a free kick?
Throw.
That's a throw in. Throw in. God almighty. Honestly, I've got no idea what's going on. Doesn't help when you're trying to cover the game and the cameras are all over the place, does it? Right, so anyway, we got nothing from that. Crystal Palace are on the attack. Got 2 minutes left. Shaw manages to get the ball, clears. He's tripped. It's a free kick to Newcastle in their own half. 2 minutes left. We're going to come down to the last chance here, really. Looks like it's all gone. I'd be very surprised if Newcastle pull this back now. Southampton have had 2 reds, by the way, so they'll be missing a couple of players, obviously, on Saturday.
Good.
That's why they're 8-0 down, it has to be said. Great
Was it Danny Ings by any chance?
Great result.
Not that lucky.
No. Sadly not.
Let's see who's
We're
down.
not that lucky, Pete.
Who has been sent off? Anybody know?
We got Bednek
Bednarek was the
and
second one.
Yankiewicz. I don't know who Yankiewicz is. I don't think I've ever seen that name.
He was
I
the
think he's a
young lad.
midfielder, and then Bednarek got the second.
Scott Dan gets BT's man of the match anyway. Probably well deserved, to be fair. The back four has played quite well. And Cahill obviously getting what is probably going to turn out to be the winning goal. Just stay with me for this last 50 seconds or so.
Fuck's sake.
Crystal Palace clear the ball again. Last chance.
Man, you've got another one at 9.
9 out of Man United.
Oh wow! So you know when
Shelby's put the ball wide. Here we go. Last chance. This terrible ball. Crystal Palace get all of it and clear it again. Crystal Palace going up the other end now towards the Leazer's end. They should just run this into the corner. ASM great tracking back, trying to get the ball back off Benteke. Benteke turns, passes it back.
Oh, it is 9.
All Crystal Palace need to do now. Crystal Palace just keeping the ball, smartly moving it backwards and forwards, running the clock down. 10 seconds left. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 2. Shelby's got the ball. Is he going to have time to do anything with it?
What is there for?
He's taking a leisurely walk out. He puts the ball over the top. It goes out for a throw-in. Referee signals for that. Andy Carroll has got the ball. I didn't even know Andy Carroll. Come on. Too busy talking on this show. Andy Carroll takes the throw-in.
Get in the
Newcastle
box.
still pushing. No real urgency. No help at all. Being kept at bay. We need a cross in.
Now.
Ball delivered.
Andy.
Who's coming in on it?
Andy Carroll. That's it. All over.
Andy Carroll got the header in. It's safely collected by the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, and that should be all over.
You know what's actually funny? We're all just normal about this loss. We're like, okay, we can accept it, which is shocking for me.
I mean, look, it's almost like business as usual, isn't it? I mean, Andy Carroll's header there, saved by the goalkeeper. Final whistle's gone. Roy Hodgson congratulates Steve Bruce on another wonderful managerial job. And that's it. We've lost. After the Lord Mayor's show, back to normal. Shelby walks off looking fairly non-dismissed about the whole thing. Let's get the panel's views on tonight's game. Daz, come to you first, mate. Your views and your man of the match. And I've got to. I'll just give you my opinion. I don't often say. I usually give it to you lads first. But look, Newcastle, tale of two halves. First half did very well. Thought they performed well. Second half, poor second half. Newcastle didn't really perform. For me, I thought Ryan Fraser was outstanding in the first half. You didn't really see him in the second half. It's a struggle again. I couldn't really give it to Darlow today. A lot of players seem to be tired. Very difficult for me to give a man of the match today. I would probably have to say man of the match would go to a Crystal Palace player today, and I've got to say it was between Gary Cahill and Scott Dan for me, and I think I'd probably give it to Cahill ahead of Dan just because he got the winning goal. So that would be my assessment of today's game. What about you, Daz?
Well, BT gave it to Scott Dan, I think. But yeah, anyway, my assessment, disappointed that we didn't get something from this game, and I was expecting a win. But what I wasn't disappointed about was the performance. They did play really well, I was kind of keeping a close eye on the second half. So they weren't too bad in the second half either. It's just they didn't get the breaks, they didn't get the shots on goal to try and test the keeper. They just kind of ran out of pace really, and it's probably from the Everton game. So it is good to see them have the ball and be a bit more proactive, and the urgency was great tonight. Actually, it's a massive change from our previous games we've watched. So it wasn't bad to watch, but it's defeat against Crystal Palace at home. I know home and away doesn't really matter these days, but and with the games against Southampton now, hopefully they annihilated us when we played them last time. I know they're not playing great now, and they'll be sore after the game today against Man United, but they took a heavy defeat before and they bounced back. But maybe their people that have got sent off will help us. Just on the man of the match, then I think I'm going to give it to Fraser. He lasted 90 minutes for his this is the first game he's played the 90 minutes. Look, we didn't get enough balls in the box or enough shots on. We were the better team, and as I think it was Rich said, it was like a Rafa style performance from Crystal Palace. But so fair play to them. But yeah, we should have got at least a draw from this.
Newcastle are in 16th place, 22 games played, won 6, drawn 4, lost 12, 22 points, minus 14 goal difference. So Burnley, who are ahead of them, have 2 games in hand, level on points, minus 13 goal difference. Brighton...
Luckily, they've got Man City tomorrow, though.
Yeah, Brighton sitting in 17th place, have got a game in hand now. If they win their game in hand, they will go above Newcastle, and they do have a better goal difference. Fulham, of course, 2 games in hand, sitting on 14 points and minus 12 goal difference. So, one game where we win, looks as if we could be, making a change and moving a little bit further up the table away from it. But that's the way it goes when you're at the bottom. You lose a game like that, puts more emphasis on that Southampton game at the weekend. We need to get 3 points on Saturday to ease the pressure. Liam, your assessment, please, and your man of the match.
Big game to lose that 6-pointer without a doubt. I thought we played well though, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter, does it? Because you still lost. We did look lively, and I think going forward that might help us out. But just it was so disappointing at the end. I could barely pick my head up. Seeing Andy Carroll miss that header, but it is what it is. We'll go on to Southampton, who will definitely be down in the dumps after a heavy defeat like that. My man of the match, I cannot give the man of the match to a Newcastle player tonight just because we haven't won. I'm going to give it to Gary Cahill. Obviously, he got the vital goal that won the match for them. And obviously, Crystal Palace was very solid at the back throughout the whole game. And obviously, the Brusby curse lives on.
It does, yeah. I'm sorry to say, mate. I'm sorry to say. Callum, I think, is a Crystal Palace fan. Congratulations, mate. It has to be said, on average, it was well deserved. Sam Morrell says 8 points above the relegation zone, so that's better than anything. That's accentuate the positive, mate. That's it. Babu, you look how I feel, mate. Disappointing result that tonight.
No, to be fair, at this point, I did say it before we played Everton that we always turn up when it comes to the big teams, and teams we're supposed to actually go for, we just sleep for the entire match. But let's hope, because I'm looking at Southampton's bench now, because most of their top players are out. So next week Saturday should be interesting. Man of the match, Scott Dan. I mean, he made a block that was definitely probably gonna go in because Guaita wasn't ready for St. Maximin's shot. So definitely Scott Dan for man of the match. Hopefully on Saturday we can get the 3 points.
Okay, Babu, thanks, mate. Rich, what was your take on that game today and your man of the match, please?
I think there's, going off the commentary in the first half, watching the second half, I think there's plenty of improvements in Newcastle in the game. I think the one thing we probably experience-wise that we struggle with today is having so much of the ball because we're not used to having 60% possession. As I said earlier on, we pretty much got Rafa. It was a typical Newcastle performance under Rafa. Where we just couldn't break them down. I think Pete was right with what he said earlier on. Yes, we were creating a chance, which is always going to be good going forward, especially with Everton as well, the way we played against them as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the chances, didn't really fall for Wilson. I think I looked on the app things there that Shaw was joint top goals, shot assists attempts tonight. Sorry. Regards to man of the match. Not really anyone that stood out for us from Newcastle. I'd probably agree with. I'd be happy to give it either Dan or Cahill. But looking at the fixtures tomorrow night, luckily all the teams around us have got difficult games. Burnley go to Man City, which you'd hope that that would affect their goal difference with the Man City front. Fulham have got Leicester visiting them, and Brighton have got the lovely trip to Anfield. So fingers crossed. On a normal day, you'd expect all three of those teams to lose against who they're playing. But obviously, this Premier League this year is, it's a bit of an anomaly, isn't it? So anything could happen.
Yep, okay. Martin, your take on that match tonight and your man of the match, please.
Yeah. So I agree with Babo and Liam there. This is the kind of game we should have won. It's Crystal Palace. We should be winning this kind of game, especially after the back on Saturday. It's just so frustrating that we haven't picked up another 3 points or even one. So yeah, it's very disappointing. I think we did play well overall. I think they just made it very difficult for us to score. So I think Dan would be, I agree with their man of the match there. Their defence is really good. Man of the match for Newcastle point of view, I think Ryan Fraser gets it for me, just because of his first half performance. Really, that was brilliant. But yeah, really just disappointed. It's just typical Newcastle. I think it's got the other opposite effect of Southampton next. They've just had a thrashing, so I think it can often go the other way, make it more difficult for us on Saturday. But hopefully it won't. Hopefully we'll get a result, but fingers crossed.
Okay, thanks for that. Chris Hall, your take on that, please.
Yeah, really disappointed. Do you know what? I'm probably going to go against the grain from everyone here. I mean, I'm really disappointed and I'm really, dejected, but it's a different kind of disappointment this week for me because I saw a lot of positives in there tonight, and I've seen a few people, criticising Bruce and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not, a Bruce apologist or anything like that, but he went for it today, in my opinion. He made the substitutions, albeit not early enough. In my, he should have maybe done them a bit earlier, but he went for it. No excuses. He brought Gale on, he brought Cadel on, and I just don't think it clicked in the second half. I thought the first half was really good, really promising. I agree with Martin. I think Fraser first half fantastic. In terms of going forward, we're now up against a Southampton team at the weekend, and hopefully we can take advantage of the fact we lost 9-0. I just hope they're in the dressing room now, just saying, you know what, lads, you put a shift in there, it just didn't quite happen. And that's how I personally feel. I don't feel like I did weeks ago where I just saw nothing. Like there was a lot of good things out there today. It just, like I say, it just didn't click. It just didn't quite, second half we just didn't quite, put the keeper under enough pressure. I mean, if you think about it, how many saves did Darley make in the second half? Like he's had a quiet half there. I thought we marshalled them pretty well, and I keep banging on about it, but compared to where we were a few weeks ago, this is a massive improvement. And okay, we've lost the game undeservedly, by the way. 58% possession, and we've had the lion's share of all the stats. So improvements are there, and they're there for all to see. Obviously, you'd expect to beat Crystal Palace at home, and I was thinking to myself, great, if we win today, we're going to be on 25 points. So I was kind of like already adding them up, so to speak, which is probably a dangerous thing to do. But the results have been kind at the weekend. Hopefully, they're kind tomorrow. In terms of man of the match, I don't like giving it to the opposition, and in the past I was more than happy to do that, but tonight I am going to give it to Newcastle player because, like I say, I've seen plenty of positives out there, and I'm going to keep positive going forward. I think my man of the match, it was nearly Fraser, but I'm going to give it to Isaac Hayden. I think he sat in front of the defence, he did his job, he was quiet, but that's what you want from a defensive midfielder. I want him to just do his job, break up the play, and like I say, that second half I didn't see anything from Palace there. They brought on Andros Townsend, and they've got some cracking attacking players, and we've kept them pretty quiet tonight. So I'm reasonably happy is probably the wrong thing to say, but I'm taking the positives from tonight, and I'm hopeful that on Saturday, our good performance will actually, give some awards. So I'm going to say Isaac Hayden tonight.
Okay, good stuff. Al-Walid, finally, just give us your review of the game and your man of the match, please.
For the second half, I think we almost did nothing. I think Roy Hodgson studied Newcastle very well, know how to stop the keeper or the strength in Newcastle. If we compare the goals, we can say the two goals of Crystal Palace, they came from teamwork. The team were moving and attacking and defense, whole unit together. But to our goal, it was like from just random shot by Shelby. It's like from one player effort. I think Hayden was much better in last game against Everton. He looked for me exhausted today, and Plus okay, we play the good squad. Saint Maximin, Fraser, Almiron, Wilson, but it seemed to me they are far from each other. Individual more than the team player. They don't know like what they should do, how they move together. They are like everyone play on his just individual style more than play as a team and playing.
Okay, lads, as always, been an absolute pleasure. We didn't get the result tonight. Hopefully, we can turn things around against Southampton at the weekend. Hopefully, you will be able to join me at the weekend. Tomorrow night, I will be back for the Retro Show. Join me, Steve Wilkinson, Stu Penman, Neil Mitchell, George Mitchell, and Steve Hasty to look back at matches against Queen's Park Rangers. As I said, we didn't get the result tonight. You win some, you lose some, and we certainly lost tonight. Lads, take care. Good night.
Good night,
Cheers,
lads.
Steve. Cheers, lads.
Bye, bye.
Bye bye.